everyone, and welcome to the Superhero Rewind Commentary Project. It is I, Captain Logan, and joining me as always is my sidekick, Austin.
I'm here. I made it.
He made it, and this evening we're going to tackle the 2004 Thomas Jane Punisher film, and we're doing these out of order because we've already done Warzone, but, you know, these aren't, like, actually in the same continuity anyway, so it works out. But it is kind of odd that we did Warzone first.
Well, and then we do this one, and then we can do the Dolph Lundgren one later.
Sure. You just do them totally backwards. It's perfect.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway, we picked this one because there's a Punisher thing out on Netflix right now. Or Netflix on those used to be Netflix on Disney Plus right now. I've not bothered to watch that. People keep asking me about it. I've not been happy with Disney Plus's output in general, so I can't get excited about seeing that. And I'm pretty sure it'll just be a lot of me whining. I mean, that's not fair. I like to take everything. You know, I like to hope things are good. And if I reviewed it, obviously I would give it its due. But I can't get excited about watching that. And Austin, you've seen it. You said it wasn't very good.
No, I thought it was awful. So take that for what it's worth. It's also not even a full story.
Oh,
so
okay.
That's nice too.
Is it gonna
I mean,
have to
neither was
count
that Werewolf
for
by
this-
Night one.
Yeah, is it going to have to count for the show? We've been really sort of up in the air about some of those, like short features that like aren't really movie length. Like what do they call them? Just like special presentations.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I'm kind of good either way. We can do them. We can not.
Well, we have plenty to cover, so you know we can put them off
Exactly.
as long as we want to. We already did a commentary on the Guardians Christmas special, like right after it came out. That wasn't even for the show, but we actually have a commentary on that.
It's true. I forgot that we did that. Yeah. That was like first week.
Yeah, I don't know why
I think we
that
did that instead of a review.
Yeah, instead of a review. I'm not sure why we did that, but that was, I think, before we were doing these.
Yes, yeah. I was probably just like, it's like 40 minutes. Like, let's just talk over it.
So this is a movie that I did not see when it came out. Obviously, even back in the early mid-2000s, I was seeing most superhero movies in the theater. But I've come around. I like these things more than I used to. But like, I was never a big fan of like real hardcore revenge thrillers. And just looking at reviews when it was in the theater, it did not sound like my thing. And I saw one, I probably mentioned this on camera, I saw one review that called it 2 hours of pure punishment, and I was like, I'll wait for video. And then I never bothered with it, and I didn't see it until
That's not even correct.
Until I did the rewind. Well, it is if you don't like it.
Oh, I see.
No,
yeah.
the whole the whole point
dumb.
was the reviewer thought he was being punished. It was
I get that now. Yeah, like at first I was like, what do you mean this isn't him just punishing people for 2 hours?
No, it's not. But yeah, this movie was not well reviewed. It still has like 29% on Rotten Tomatoes, which I'll never understand. Like, I've got issues with this movie. I had a pretty good watch with it this time around. We'll talk about it. Like, it's a mixed bag for me before it's anything. And I'm not telling anybody anything they don't know because I've talked about this a couple times on the channel already. But also, I think I even liked it a bit better this time around than I did when we did the Marvel Mania on it years ago, and when I did the rewind on it. I actually never did a written review of this movie. That old rewind is off the cuff with Vince. Mm-hmm. The only Punisher thing I've ever written about, and of course I don't do written reviews of this stuff anymore at all, but the only Punisher thing I ever wrote about was the Dolph Lundgren one.
Because you love Dolph Lundgren. You're his #1 fan.
Yeah, in as much as Iron Man 2 is my favorite movie.
Well, most people don't know this, but you were kind of like up in the air when you started this. You're like, I'm either going to do Superhero Rewind or Dolph Lundgren Rewind, and I'm not sure which one I'm going to land on, but it's going to be one of the two.
Well,
and you flipped a coin.
Yeah, and I'm glad that it turned out Superhero because I probably wouldn't be here 17 years later.
On the third iteration of Dolph Lundgren Rewind.
Yeah, there just weren't. Yeah, but that third iteration would have happened 5 years in because there just wouldn't be that much to talk about.
Well, yeah, you just recover it and keep updating.
Dan Schneider, $2 super chat. Austin, tell us why Punisher last kill sucked. In 100 words or less, go.
Okay, take out a counter and count my words. No, I mean the big thing, and I have this with Werewolf by Night, is it feels like just the middle episode of a show that doesn't exist. So like I think just as a story, it doesn't work.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's got that thing that you have with Picard, because we kind of talked about this off camera, and you were saying a lot of the stuff that I was saying reminded you of that.
Yeah.
Where like it was like a major realization for me of, oh, Bernthal like does not understand this character at all. And I mean, in his defense, he only got to play him once, which was Daredevil season 2,
Yeah.
and this is very much continuing off of his show, which is not the Punisher. So like you have that, but I also think that even if you really like that show, you're gonna get nothing out of it because it's just like the microwaved leftovers of that show. So it doesn't have anything on its own then.
What does that mean,
Either
microwave leftovers? That it's just rehashing stuff?
like it's just rehashing. Like there's nothing new that's not in that original show. And then it's also like this weird thing where we stop like halfway through to be like, oh, you know, the cycle of violence is bad, Frank, and then he just kills a bunch of people. He saves a person, I guess, so that's supposed to be the answer to that, but I don't know. It's just very nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
it's not
there's
good.
Austin's review. Yeah, I was kicking around maybe going ahead and watching it and having us do a review of it, but it's gonna pass me by before. Like I'm gonna have some other things I gotta talk about before I get around to it, probably. And I didn't figure you had much more to say than your 100-word analysis you just gave us.
Yeah, exactly. It's 20 minutes of Bernthal moping around, followed by 20 minutes of him killing people. Like, I don't know. That's it. I got nothing else to say.
If I get curious and end up watching it, I'll tell you about it, and we can maybe do something quick on it. But I don't think that's gonna happen. And
Also, the opening
I can't get excited to watch more Daredevil either.
Yeah. Also, the opening is hilariously like safe edgy, where it's like, oh look, we're pushing boundaries, but not really.
Yeah.
And it's very goofy.
And what I saw, Born Again had some of that.
Sure, yeah, that's true.
Well, anyway, let's go ahead and talk about this. Austin, real quick, what is your background with this?
Yeah. This is just a movie that was just kind of always there when I was a kid. Like, I don't remember I find this movie moment. I think it helps that I have an uncle that's 7 years older than me that's basically an older brother, and he was very into this stuff. Like, I remember he had, like, a lot of shirts from this movie where it would be either just the skull or like the skull with the "It's not vengeance, it's punishment" slogan.
Dude, the popularity of the skull shirts were at its absolute height at this point in the early 2000s. It
Oh
was
yeah,
friggin' everywhere, and it was pretty big in the 90s too. You saw, I don't want to say as many Punisher skulls as you did bat symbols, but it was up there.
but I feel like more than Batman, like the Punisher skull, like kind of shot off into like its own demographic, where like you could just have that shirt because it's cool and don't even know
You didn't even
what
have
it's
to know
from.
what Punisher was.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
I think
Because I saw a lot of that growing up.
Yes, you did not have motorcycle gangs with bat symbols, but they did have Punisher skulls. That's absolutely true.
Which is hilariously ironic.
I think Ghost Rider could have had that, but there's not like a symbol.
Yeah, he's just missing that. Like, it would be the flaming skull, I guess, which frankly would look cool on a motorcycle.
Yeah,
But that's maybe a harder thing to market
and
in
I'm
the
sure
same
people
way
have done
as
that, but
this.
there's not like a distinct, iconic, singular drawing like logo like there is. With
Yeah,
Punisher.
exactly. No, he doesn't really have a symbol.
Let's
You
go
can
ahead
have
and
a
get into
chain.
I'm sorry. What?
So you can have a chain, I guess. You can carry that around.
Yeah, but then there's other things with chains, like it could be Spawn, and Spawn actually has a
Yeah.
symbol.
And two chains.
That's true. Well, anyway, let's go ahead and get into the movie. Get out your DVD, Blu-ray, however you want to watch it. I don't think this is streaming anywhere without a rental fee right now. I ended up just pulling my disc out for it. But and I've got just the old bare bones DVD. Well, I say bare bones. I mean, it's got special features, but I've got the original release of this. I'll try to trade up. This is another one of those where I forgot to try to trade up before we did it. But then I was kind of glad I had this one because whatever the Blu-ray release is of this, it probably doesn't give you the menus and stuff. And this has a sleek menu design.
Yeah, and I have
this disc was cool.
The original Blu-ray. I didn't pull it out for this, but I'm pretty sure you're right about that.
Okay.
Yeah. Warzone, also funny enough, is the only Marvel film I own on 4K.
Really?
Yeah. I'm going to correct that and buy Howard the Duck, but I just haven't yet.
Yeah, I don't have that 4K. I've got the old special DVD release with all the features, but I don't even think I have that on Blu-ray. If they even did a Blu-ray, whatever. We should get into the film. Here we go. So get ready to press play when I say now. We've got the timer there if you need to sync up with us. And a quick plug for Patreon if you've not had a chance to put in a short review for this yet, a mini review, you can go to patreon.com/geekvolution. The $5 tier lets you do that, or you can put one in with a super chat as we're watching, and we'll read it at the end of the show. At the $10 tier, you can become a Patreon producer, have a rewind producer, I should say, have your name read at the end of the show, hang out with us on Discord once every month or so. We need to do a meeting. It's been a few weeks. And help us pick a movie for Rewind. And we did a poll for our next one, which we'll reveal at the end. It'll be a couple weeks before the next one. And then we'll do something... I was going to say obscure, but I'll say this one is actually not super obscure. The one that made the poll. So, I don't know, some people will be very excited. Chewbacca Slover, $5 super chat. Fun fact, the original version had more classic Punisher action, but they had to change it because so much of the budget went to paying Travolta. We'll talk about that. I don't know how true exactly that is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because that's always what I've heard, but then when I looked into the production a little bit, I didn't see much about that, but I do have a lot to say about that. Yeah. So, yeah, I was definitely going to bring it up.
I think there's some nuance to that, but we'll talk about it. Mm-hmm. Everybody, please press play right. Oh, hold on. Pardon me. Okay, press play right now.
LGF. Sorry, my movie didn't play.
Do you have the? Oh, it didn't play. We got to start over.
Yeah, sorry about that. It just
that's
glitched out.
All right, sorry everybody. I set back to timestamp 0.
Snap back to reality. Oh, there goes gravity. Okay, I'm back at timestamp 0.
Okay, do you have that studio logo at the start?
Which one, sorry?
LGF.
LGF? No, mine starts with a Columbia TriStar.
Oh, weird. Okay, we might be slightly out of sync as we go. Because
I'm sure it's not like that big of a deal, because we tend to talk more broad.
No, that's fine. I'm sure we'll be close anyway.
Yeah,
Can
exactly.
you give me a timestamp? Like how long is your movie?
Oh, what is the bar say? 123 minutes and 30 seconds.
120.
So 2 hours and 3 minutes. And
mine's 2:03, so it should be pretty close.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, that first logo was like 12 seconds.
All right, we're going to do it again. Here we go. Everybody, please press play right now. Daniverse, those Mania videos have a lot of idiots going, WTF, I thought this was the movie. Yeah, it's weird. Like, I was really excited at the time that those did huge numbers, and it turns out that a lot of that is because people thought that it was just an upload of the film. And I don't know why people thought that.
There's something that always makes me laugh, because, like, you can find movies on YouTube, it's not going to be, like, Captain America Civil War. Like, maybe this one, maybe that's why this one's so high, like, because you could maybe see it.
I had the same thing with
Jason. It's small enough.
We're doing the pilot show.
Mm-hmm.
Where people thought that meant you were watching the pilot, and I was like, okay.
Why wouldn't it just be this show, episode 1? Why would it be called the pilot show? People are dumb.
So, I want to start off by saying I like the opening credits a lot, and I actually wish this was longer.
That's what I was gonna say. Yeah, because it is cool, but it's so just like, okay, boom, it's done. Onto the
Yeah,
movie.
I actually kind of have two issues with it. It's so old Hollywood that it needed to be more old Hollywood and have more of the credits in it, right? Because it's not even really a title sequence. It's just a logo, really. Like it's not giving you Travolta and the director and everybody, and you kind of wish it took its time like Superman and did that. But the other thing
Yeah, you
is,
want more of like the shells falling and stuff like that, and like the
yeah,
gunshots.
but the other thing about it is it sounds so much like a western. I wish more of the movie was in line with it. It in a weird way has that Ghost Rider thing, although I think this works better as a like neo western than even Ghost Rider does, but it still has that same kind of problem where it wants to be that, or at least it wants to kind of purport to be that a little bit, but it's not really a western. It's got some western elements here and there, but that tone is not at the forefront like I want it to be. Especially because the score overall keeps wending in and out of it, and it keeps reminding me of what I wish the movie felt like.
Yeah, no, because I feel like with Ghost Rider, it's trying to be a western, and then here and there just forgets that. With this one, I almost feel like scene to scene, it like changes its mind on what it's trying to be.
That's absolutely right.
And
Sometimes it's a modern black comedy. Sometimes it's kind of a pseudo western. Sometimes it's more of a noir crime thriller. Sometimes it's got, I don't
yeah,
want to say grindhouse, but like hardcore, like B violent thriller.
yeah. Whereas I think Ghost Rider is a movie that knows what it wants to be and just can't fully achieve that. This is a movie that I think is kind of just lacking a strong direction in terms of like what it's supposed to be, not like the moment to moment directing.
Which is so weird because A, I think it has a better director overall, and B, it's weird when you say Mark Steven Johnson has a clearer vision than anybody.
Right?
But I completely agree with you. Now, I think we need to be as fair as we can to this director, to Jonathan Hinsley, because he got the rug pulled out from under him pretty hard. He came
Mhm.
into this expecting a $60 to $65 million budget, and it was cut in half on him. And he says in his commentary that he had written for several big blockbuster movies that tended to be in the 80 to $90 million range, and he was hired to make, and also he wrote this to write and direct that kind of movie, and then suddenly they said, oh, by the way, we want you to do it with $30 million. And I don't mean to say that he didn't like sign a contract like not knowing that, but I think when he wrote it he maybe didn't know that. And then he now they did slash his budget even more when he started filming, because this was supposed to open with a uh, big like war sequence that would have
Mhm.
established a character that we see here and there, but isn't actually a major part of the story anymore. Frank had a best friend that I think might be a comic book character. I don't know enough about Punisher comics, but the black guy that's in this scene is supposed to be his best friend and was supposed to be in the original sequence, and he had a whole subplot that was cut just
Yeah.
for budget reasons, where he was supposed to be the person that sells Frank out. And as the story plays now, and they had to cut around it, like they shot a lot of stuff, they had to cut real hard around it. It does kind of feel like something's missing, because it does feel really easy that the Saint, that Travolta's character in this is able to just find him really easily. And there's a lot of corners cut. Like nobody in this movie has any problem ever finding each other. You notice that? Like
Yeah.
Travolta's sitting there like, ooh, Punisher keeps beating me, I'm mad. I'm mad at my best friend for not killing him. It's your job to kill him. Why didn't you kill him? I know, I'll send someone to his house. Why didn't you lead with that?
I know, no kidding,
or,
right?
or his apartment rather.
Uh,
I think that's so weird. And there's
no,
like, if you sorry, I'm jumping everywhere. If you know where he lives, why did you just send the giant 7 foot tall Russian man? Why didn't you send everyone?
I was too early. You got to send the whole army first, and then you can send the Russian
Oh,
guy.
okay, okay. Anyway,
But no, it's kind of surprising because you would think, like, just studio mindset coming into this. This is Blade again, right? Is what you'd think. So, like, I would think you'd be more willing to give it that 60 million
well, that's a good
because you go,
call.
this is the closest thing Marvel has that has been made into a movie post that is like Blade. Obviously, it's not vampires, but it's that same kind of man in leather walks in and kills people.
Well, it's not even the same studio though, so maybe they're not.
Mhm.
Maybe they're just not even thinking about that. You can't be sure that
Maybe.
the people that fronted the money for this even knew Blade was a Marvel character.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
But I
This
agree
is
with
what
you.
Lionsgate?
All things being
Yeah.
equal, what logo did you say you had?
Oh, it was like a Columbia one, but it was like Columbia International, so it wasn't
Yeah,
regular Columbia.
yeah. I don't
But I
actually know
know
who
Warzone
distributed
is
this, but
Lionsgate.
uh, Daniverse says
So yeah,
it's
maybe it just
Lionsgate.
wasn't
Okay,
even on their mind.
yeah. But you're right. That's what it should have been. They just seemed really trepidatious about it.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean that could just be a case where we as comic fans are like, oh, studio people should know things, and they just don't think about it the way we do.
Well, and more than that, I mean, they know it's a Marvel property. They know it's a superhero property, and part of the reason this gets made in the first place is because some of those have been successful lately. So why were they that trepidatious about it? You know,
Hmm.
it's like you'd think if you were gonna bother to make it, you'd make sure it had enough money to make the action look good. And so to Chewbacca's lover's point, if that's who mentioned it, yeah,
Yes.
with the Travolta thing, like I'm sure he got a big paycheck for this, but he's the only big actor anybody's heard of in this. So it is in that tradition of we cast a major kind of relatively A-list star as the villain to sell it. What's weird is at the time I didn't feel like they sold it that hard on Travolta. It seemed like he
No,
was
I
just
feel
kind of
like
in it. Like when I saw the previews for it, I was like, oh, weird. I think that's Travolta. Like you had to look kind of hard. Like they didn't put him super front and center.
yeah. Well, to get into the Travolta of it all, that's kind of my big thing in this is whether or not he is like the drain on the budget that is talked about. I do think he has just kind of wasted money. Um, like I think he's miscast in this personally.
So I
Um,
always thought that, and I'm
mhm,
more middle of the road on it now. I don't mean to be wishy washy. I
yeah,
liked him better this time than I have in the past. I think the
and I've
issue
gone back and forth
have
throughout
you
time. Like it was just yeah.
honestly, I think it's maybe more about the material than it is about the casting because his like 40-yard stare total detached from reality thing that he does at the end when he goes to kill his wife, boy, if that had been the whole performance, you know,
Mhm.
like
Yeah, that's fair.
if you could have communicated to the audience that he was almost that far gone in the first place, I think he would have been even a great deal more menacing. And like there's that quality to him to some degree, but he lays that on so thick when he thinks that his wife where he's just such a loose cannon and he's not gonna listen to anybody and he lives like totally in his own like crazy nutso reality. I just wish he had been an even more kind of uh like out there personality in the first place, and that we'd had more of a
Yeah.
sense of how he got to that place where it's not just generic crime boss. It's like something happened to this guy. Like he lost touch with reality somewhere years ago. And his
Mhm.
wife needs it
No, that's
too.
what you want.
They both
Yeah.
have to be that way. And she is way too altogether to be the one that says kill his whole family. Like, they need to both be super detached from reality. And I think that speaks to the biggest problem with this movie overall, which is just communication. There's a lot of that, where the
Yeah.
director and the director-writer thinks he is making something real clear. It's just not quite in the forefront enough. Where it's like, when he
Mhm.
talks about it, it's sort of like McFarlane with Spawn. It's like, when he talks about it, it sounds more interesting than what I'm looking at.
Mhm. Yeah, no, that's very fair. But like with what you're describing, like that's also what you want from a Punisher villain. Like you want them to be really big and theatrically awful. And I just feel like Howard Sand in this, he just kind of exists. Like he's fine.
And he doesn't have to be funny to be
Yeah.
as out to lunch as you're talking about.
No, because it can be like real, like gross, like disgusting, or like really kind of like Bond villainy, theatrical, like just something big. Because you
Hmm.
want somebody that you really hate. And with
The
John
beats are
Travolta, I
there,
just kind of feel like,
and I
just
also
kind of
think Travolta's
exists.
capable of that. Like,
Sure.
the director in his commentary talks about how Travolta had played villains before, and people always complained that he was too broad. And so with this movie, they tried to like, Travolta himself seemed to intentionally reel it in. I think he should have stayed broad to some
Yeah,
degree.
yeah, I agree. No, like even in that last scene, like I don't know, all I get is he's just kind of like prissy. I don't know, like that's he doesn't really come off as menacing in that last scene, like as his big introduction.
Yeah, and like, I was getting more of that, like I said, detached thing from it this time around, and appreciating that a bit. But like, and I also appreciate the idea. It's difficult, like it's a hard line to walk, and I just don't think it quite manages the walking it. Like, I also get the idea of ramping it up, where like, if you start where he is at the end of the movie, there's nowhere for him to go. But I don't think the detachment is communicated well enough. I think I had to see it 3 times.
Well, you know what the big thing, and I was going to mention this later, but this kind of fits into what we were saying now. A lot of your henchmen are kind of Dick Tracy, like the Russian who comes from Welcome Back Frank, and like the Johnny Cash kind of guy. Like those feel like comic book characters, and obviously, at least I know the Russian guy is. I can't remember about the Johnny Cash guy, but like
I don't think he
I don't know. I
is.
feel like yeah, I feel like all the villains should maybe be to that degree.
Well, the movie cannot decide how stylized comic booky it wants to be, and
Mhm.
he even says, Hainsley, he even says in his commentary that they were going for heightened but not stylized, and I'm like, well, then you leave the 7 foot tall Russian guy wearing the Where's Waldo shirt out then.
Yeah, Welcome Back Frank is not the book you adapt if that's what you want, because like that's also the book where the main villain has her limbs eaten by polar bears and then Punisher kicks her into a burning building. That book's super over the top, which is the Russian thing, and it's toned down even from what it is in the comic in that. But
Oh, Tobacco's Lover says
even then,
Harry
like
Hack
it's still
is in
very
the
over the top.
comics. I just don't know enough.
Okay, I
I
didn't
just haven't
catch a
read enough.
name, so I wasn't sure.
Well, the name's on his guitar case.
Oh, true.
So he makes a
Yeah,
big deal out of that because remember, Frank is like, "What's your name?" and he just turns the guitar case, and then the camera pans
that's
up it and
right.
it says
Yeah.
Harry Hack. But there's a lot of, like, I think a lot of the cinematography in this is good, but sometimes I just can't tell what I'm supposed to be focused on. So like, even with that shot, it's like, I don't know that I would have panned up it like that. I'm not even sure I'm supposed to be reading something. I like, I would have just done an insert, you know.
Hmm.
I'm nitpicking real
That's
hard
fair.
because, like I said, I did have a better watch of this now. One thing I do really appreciate with Frank's origin is in this is how much screen time his wife gets, and I like that the two of them are like on good terms and like they're clearly in love, and I like his dynamic with his kid. Like, it's they're not perfect, and you could read some of the like PTSD and his like having a hard time uh like really being present with his family and stuff. You can read some of that in it a little bit. They don't feel too idyllic, but I do like that we don't do the typical like melodramatic thing where he and his wife are like almost about to get a divorce, or like they're on the outs, or they have some gigantic blow up argument right before she dies, and then part of the reason that he goes on his rampage is because he feels responsible for their death. Like we don't do any of that.
Yeah, I'm glad we don't do that. It's over the top that it's like a giant family, but I do at least like Roy Schneider in this.
Yeah,
He's
although
good.
he's a little wasted. I don't know why it's Roy Scheider. It's
I'm not sure either, but like I like him for when he's here.
Yeah, I mean, I appreciate that he at least gets to shoot some guns. Like he gets something to do for a second, but it could have kind of been anybody. And then it also watches like they're next to water. So who do we know that's associated with water? Again, like I've never seen Roy Scheider in anything where he wasn't either like in a boat or next to a lot of water or dripping wet through most of his performance.
Well, he wasn't in Jaws 4: The Revenge, where the shark follows them from the States to like a Caribbean country. So we got that where.
Yeah, but he was the
You got that
main.
here.
He was the main character. He was the captain in Sequest. Gee, I wonder, because he's the boat guy.
Yeah, they should have killed him at water or at sea.
That would have been good. So I'm very distracted by this scene. I like this conversation. I should say real quick though, a lot. Where she says, "I know who I married." Like I don't know how you feel about this. I like the angle that she knows everything about him. Because don't we sometimes play it with the Punisher that like he's got maybe something of a secret life that his family doesn't know that much about? I mean, like you know, there's war, and you wouldn't know
Not
everything
so
that
much
happens
that.
over there. But
Yeah, like very detached. I mean, there's kind of like the two versions. Either he does really like his family, or he's completely like detached from them,
yeah,
and is kind of just waiting for that. And I think both are valid. Like, I don't really have it has to be this.
well, you know what this feels like? This feels like if Patriot Games went darker.
Sure.
Like I was really having that with this, where like he has a similar sort of relationship with his wife, but like she actually dies in this.
We're just missing a giant crazy boat chase like in that.
I would have liked a giant crazy boat chase given that we're in Florida for only budgetary reasons and nothing else.
And not even the crime-ridden Florida city. Why is it Tampa?
Why is it like it feels like we're in little Florida town. Like I know it's not really a little town, but that's what it feels like compared to
even if we're filming in Tampa, you can just say it's Miami. If you don't want to say it's New York,
yeah, who cares? Just pick a bigger, more metropolitan city.
It's just so weird to be like, the Tampa.
So I love theoretically how over the top and kind of like comic melodramatic some of this goes, and I just wish it could pick a direction, right? When the strings rise up in that scene, and she's like his family, and then she goes, and then it just backs out, and she just goes, his whole family. I'm like, you've set your tone. That's your tone, and they don't live up to that through the whole movie. They cannot decide how realistic they want it to be, and I think you could really settle in and still take it seriously on that level. You know what I mean? Like just let it be a almost Sin City level melodrama, and then your protagonist is still like tragic and sad, and you can still feel for him while you're not condoning a lot of what he's doing. Like all of that can still work, and that's the thing that sets it apart from like every other typical revenge thriller. Like part of the problem with this movie is it gets far enough away from a comic book feel, and like sometimes it does feel kind of comic book, but like much of it gets far enough away from that that it just sort of genericifies it. You're like, well, I've kind of seen this movie. You know, it's like we're like Death Wish 4 or something.
Death Wish 8.
I don't know how many of those they made.
I think they made 4 and then a remake.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, maybe like I'm not sure if some of it is maybe also trying to separate it from things like that. Uh, especially like with it being more like methodical in how he gets his revenge,
Yeah.
things like that.
There's a part of me that kind of likes the idea of the villains intentionally trying to kill his whole family, as opposed to there being kind of casualties of an attempt at just killing him. I kind of like that it's more malicious. It's real over the top. To say his whole family, and what they mean is his extended like the cousins,
Everyone,
the everyone,
his like fifth cousins are getting are getting jacked in this film.
and so I'm gonna be a little on the sitting on the fence about a couple of a few things with this movie, because I can see a world where I would appreciate that more than I do. Because it feels like the movie is like kind of overcompensating, going, we need a reason that Frank Castle is so extreme in his personality. So
Yeah.
instead of just making it his wife and kid get killed, we'll say everybody that is blood related to him dies. And
Mhm.
I actually think that could have worked. Part of the problem with it is like it feels like an overcompensation because we did it all in one scene, and we contrived it so that she says that, and then they happen to have a family gathering where they're all there together. How about the bad guys manipulate that? Like, how about they either come up with a way to get them all together, and they didn't just conveniently decide this when that was already going to happen? Because I'm pretty sure this is just a family gathering, right? Like, it's not
Yeah, no, it
manipulated
is.
by the gangsters or anything. Or you do a Revenge of the Sith montage, and you go to every place where a member of his family is, and they just murder them all.
Oh my god. No, I do think it is overcompensation, and just both in what you're saying in that why is he so extreme, and also the Punisher's origin is so small, uh, but it's also perfect. Like any change, I think, to that origin makes it worse. Um, so like it does have that. Like if I were to make a Punisher movie, I would say just don't make an origin. That's just not where you should start.
No, absolutely.
There's just not enough of a story there. Like obviously you can make a cool movie out of that, and like it's a revenge movie, but every time that we do it, we always overcompensate.
Well, this movie is trying to be an origin and then, like, tell a story past it, and so it goes, well, we want that to be the first act, and we want to actually spend some time, at least a little bit of time, with the wife and kid, which I appreciate and respect if you're going to do it.
Mm.
But the whole movie probably would have been better served, especially to get the subplot with the partner back, because I think that's more compelling than some of what's here. I If this was all done in like 10 minutes instead of half an hour, I but I don't know if that's fair to say, because if I was watching that movie, I might be complaining that the wife doesn't get enough screen time. So I don't know, it's kind of tough. I think you're right. I think it's probably better if if you just don't start with origin. But this also might be the place where Mark Steven Johnson could save us, because what if the structure of this was Daredevil and Ghost Rider,
Mm-hmm.
where you start with the
Yeah.
Punisher after this has happened, and then you jump back and you live with it for 10 or 15 minutes, but you already know where it's going after that. And that structure actually could have worked really well with this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you do kind of like the Daredevil thing where he's just kind of killing criminals. Like it's not specifically a revenge thing. Maybe doesn't fully know where that goes.
Yeah. It probably can't just be in Tampa, but
Yeah,
but
that's
yeah.
because nothing should be in Tampa. The world would be a better place without Tampa.
Also, Saint does not seem to be remotely concerned about getting caught with any of the really blatant, like, massive murders that he's committing. Like, we need more talk about like I don't know, police corruption and stuff. Like I don't know why he's able to get away with everything he gets away with.
Yeah, well, and given that we made Frank a cop, like I'm kind of shocked we don't get into that at all.
Because like it can be police corruption, it can be he's just too powerful, but like we just generically kind of say money and power and move past it. But there's
Yeah.
no attempt with either the hero or the villain in this movie at being inconspicuous at all. The first time I saw this, and Frank Castle walks up to the steps of the courthouse, I was friggin' shocked.
Hmm.
I was like, and there's a part of me that really appreciates the brazenness of that, but at the same time, I'm like, wouldn't you want the element of surprise? Like, isn't it helpful if everyone thinks you're dead?
Yeah.
Why would you be
Well,
so public about that? Like, you walked up when there's news cameras. Like, what are you doing?
Well, I know the writer talked about how like weapons aren't the Punisher's skill; it's like how clever he is. Like it is weird that that's one of the first things that he does.
Yeah. Well, that's the whole reason that he makes it a really overly complicated, convoluted plot to get Saint to kill his own family as opposed to doing it himself.
Hmm. And also now we're in Mad Max, like just straight up, like barely influenced by just in Mad Max.
Yeah, and I've never seen the original Mad Max, but he talks about that in the commentary.
Oh, okay.
He definitely wears his influences on his sleeve, and I think some of it is maybe kind of self-indulgent, but didn't feel as self-indulgent to me because a lot of his touchstones are not things I've ever seen. So it helps me a
Yeah,
little
that's
bit.
fair.
I don't know
Yeah.
that stuff.
No, and I mean I didn't know that when I originally saw this.
Kind of an odd choice to have Frank's family run over by a car.
Hmm.
I'm not even criticizing it. It's just odd that you would think to do it that way.
Well, yeah, I guess just for the image of like they're at the end of the line, they're at the end of their road.
Yeah, okay, that's fair. And it's just going. But I also think it just goes out of its way as hard as it can to be different. And there's a couple of things that he says
Yeah.
in his commentary that make it really clear that that was the primary motivation for a lot of things. Where there wasn't any
Yeah, well,
deeper story or thematic consideration. It was just. And he even says this with. Like I said, Frank's convoluted plot to get the villain to kill his own family. It's just different. It's just he hasn't seen that
mhm.
before.
Yeah. No, and we're not really saying anything about the cycle of violence with any of this, but like again, I feel like just in general, removing it from being just a random crime just kind of takes away from the character. There's kind of no way around it.
Well, the closest
Uh,
thing you get to talking at all about cycle of violence is just the girl at the apartment complex. I like saying what makes you any different than them, and
mhm.
that kind of suggests like you're just perpetuating more violence. Like the idea that he's not really like what he's doing is not necessarily good, and the answer like is in there.
Mhm. Yeah, I just mean like it's not like a major theme in this. Like
No, it's not.
it's mentioned, but like more in passing.
A lot of that stuff is more surface level, where
Yeah.
it just wants you to know that Frank Castle, and again, the director keeps saying this in his commentary too, that Castle is an anti-hero and not really a hero. And so they'll just insert things to make it clear what the mission statement is.
Yeah. Also, making it a revenge thing in the first place for why his family gets killed also makes this part awkward, where it's like now we've ridden ourselves into a corner.
What do you mean?
Uh, just in that he doesn't get killed here, and like the way he gets taken off is really wonky and looks rough. where you don't have that traditionally, where it's just a random act of violence that they're caught up in. So it's not like somebody's trying to kill him.
See, I didn't even remember that. I thought it was someone that wanted Frank Castle dead, and that
Mhm.
his family was just
No,
in the
it's
crossfire. I never remember that with his origin.
yeah. No, it's just random act of violence. They're
So
caught
it's the
up in a
so it's the Batman
gang
thing.
shootout.
And you're saying we have the
Yeah,
same problem we do a lot with Batman now, where we have to make the Wayne murders a conspiracy.
yeah, and it's really bad in Netflix. Like, it's better here than it
Yeah.
is in that, but like, it still runs into problems. It's just a case where that's such a perfect origin that changing it in any way kind of lessens it.
Well, it just kind of changes the point of the character to some degree. It makes you kind of wonder why he even bothers to continue at the end. You know, because like
Yeah,
I'm not sure why this would change his whole worldview about bad people so much as just these assholes. You know what I mean?
hmm which I think is
Honestly,
why we do like the suicide thing at the end, where we kind of fake that out, because like a traditional Punisher wouldn't have that.
well, that's what I was gonna say. Is if this movie wasn't called The
Yeah.
Punisher and it just told this story and he pulls that gun out at the end, that's how it ends. The only reason he
Yeah,
continues past that is so you can have the money shot where he's got the skull and says, "I'm going to keep going" at the end. Like that's the only reason he
mhm.
doesn't.
It's either that or he dies in the climax,
Yeah,
fighting them.
no, either way. But he would want to be dead by the end. Like it would be. I mean,
Yeah,
he's not that far away from the Crow at that point, just without any supernatural element. Where like he sees himself as basically having died, and his only purpose now is to avenge his family's murder. And yeah, he makes a big deal out of like you said, the slogan of the movie that like it's not vengeance, it's punishment, and like I mean it's both, but sure. Um,
yeah,
but like okay, so he wants to punish the people that killed his family, but then beyond that, what are his feelings about just murders and criminality and
yeah. And you could maybe, if you went into more of the kind of corruption angle in the story, like get him there, right? Where it's like, oh,
yes.
seeing it from the outside, like I can see, like I don't think the system works.
Well, yeah, the
I have to
policeman
work at
screen
some of
time.
it.
The scene where, like I said, where he walks up the steps almost feels like it belongs in a different movie because we just
Mhm.
bypassed that entirely, and like that's kind of just an initial motivation for him to not. And I like that we talk about why he doesn't go with the law because he was a lawman, and he goes, well, they're not going to give me my family the justice that they deserve because I guess Travolta is untouchable. I guess.
Yeah. You maybe need something like that sequence in Dread at the very least, where the villain calls in like the corrupt cops to come, fight the hero. Like something.
Yeah. No, that'd be good. Or where he goes to his best friend, and instead of it being like a sellout plot, it's he tries to get his friend to leave the police and be a vigilante and help him, and he won't do it.
Hmm
Like
Yeah.
maybe first he says like, "Hey, police, I need you to help me do this," and they're like, "Well, we have to do it, letter of the law." And he's like, "Well, that's not working, so I'm gonna have to do this myself." And how dare you? And he's mad at them. And then he goes to his best friend, and his best friend sticks with the police instead of going with him, and so that just makes him like really. Be like even more disenfranchised with the system. That would have been a direction to go.
Yeah. No, that makes sense.
Apparently, there is an extended cut of this movie. I didn't know that.
Yes, because they do some of that war stuff, but they didn't film it, so it's done in like animatics, I think.
Oh, okay. But yeah, somebody in the comments said that some of that stuff with his best friend is put back in it. So like in that
Mhm.
version, he is sold out. Have you seen it?
Uh, like not in a long time. No, and I think there's even like a bit where he kills his old partner for selling him out.
Yes. Well, what I was surprised by this. the director in his commentary says that Frank uh, manipulates him into killing himself.
Oh, okay. I don't
I
remember that.
think I think
Yeah.
that's what he said.
I mean, that's this Punisher's MO.
Why is that his MO? Why is the Punisher's whole thing in this movie he gets other people to kill them to kill each other or themselves?
I don't know. I can't explain that.
That's such a weird choice. And I like the idea that he is resourceful and has ingenuity, and that he doesn't just come in guns blazing. That like he's got a plan and he's smart and he's good at all that. And that is the Punisher. So like the Punisher that at least with stuff I've read, it can be like real conniving and deceptive when he needs to be like when he can't get into a place, right? Like all you had to do is make Saint's house a fortress that he can't get into. And so he has to do this manipulation plot, otherwise he's never gonna be able to get in there. But I don't see why he can't just walk in and kill everyone, because the problem is he's able to get so close to Saint and his family. Like you have all these scenes where he is doing reconnaissance and stuff, and he gets really close to Saint's wife and stuff.
Yeah. No, you can just walk up and shoot them like anytime.
And Roger Ebert complained about this in his written review, and I agree with this. That it's weird that Saint lets his wife just keep going out by herself, knowing that Frank Castle is out there. Like that's weird.
Oh yeah, that is kind of weird. Yeah,
You ever thought
you
of
would think
that?
they would lock down.
Sorry, what?
So you would think they would like hunker down.
Yeah. I I think one of the biggest story missteps with this movie, Austin, is that Frank never finds out that Saint's wife is as culpable and maybe even more so than he is. And that's a giant mistake. She's the one that says his whole family. And furthermore, Saint does everything he does for her until he thinks that she is cheating on him. And I
Yeah.
would buy Frank's whole plot more if I thought he knew all of that.
You would you'd maybe want like some sort of moment instead of what we do, and this is rewriting the movie, but like maybe he gets to the Saints and he's gonna kill Howard Saint, and he says to her like, I'm not like your husband, like I'm not gonna kill you too, like you can go, and then maybe she
Yeah.
pulls a gun on him and then he kills her.
Maybe, but
Like something.
and I don't know how
I mean, you
do
don't. You
it.
still don't get like him finding out that she was the one who ordered it in that case, but
Yeah, I don't know how you do it, but I want him to somehow get evidence of that, or for her to be such a sadist, she wants him to know it. Like, I actually think a better third act, and yeah, I'm gonna rewrite it with this too. I think a better it's not fair, but here's a notion. I think a better third act with this might have been take Travolta out earlier and let her be the real villain of the piece.
when that would be closer to the book that this is adapting. Like that also is a main female villain. Like, yeah, I think it would
is
work.
clearly more sadistic and screwed up even than Saint is.
Hmm. Yeah, no, I think that'd be cool. Like,
The Punisher
she's the
could have had a
Monument
cool speech where he almost can respect Saint for wanting revenge on him for killing his son, even though like all of that was illegal arms sales and awful, and like of course what happened was going to happen, but like at least it was just eye for an eye. But like you really crossed the line, and I realize Punisher is real all or nothing, but I could see a speech where he's like, I I can almost respect that, but like then you had to take it to my entire family for no reason.
You killed my fifth cousins, dude.
And then Mystique shows up.
And Angel, which I forgot until Angel Castaneda just said that in
Oh,
the
I didn't realize
chat.
that.
Yeah, he's Spacker Dave.
Angel Castaneda, we didn't get Micro in this because the director felt like it was that character was too uh, high tech for the movie he wanted to make.
Yeah, and I'm fine with Micro not being here if you're making an origin movie. We also kind of have a stand-in for Micro with that gangster guy that works for Punisher.
Yeah.
Obviously, he's not the exact same, but like it is kind of a person working for Frank.
But I think he had it in his head that he can't do Micro without Battle Van and all of that, and he just didn't want it to get real techy.
Okay, wow, which is funny because I don't even really think you have to get super tacky with the battle van. You can just be a van.
Yeah.
Maybe just overthought it.
And I think there's quite a bit of that.
Like I said, I don't mind that Micro's not here. I don't need him to always be there.
Mm-hmm.
He to me feels like a perfect character for a sequel.
Yeah, I mean, there's a part of me that wishes Frank had somebody to talk to that wasn't just like comic relief characters that he meets in an
That's
apartment
fair.
complex, but he doesn't talk to them either. So,
Yeah. Well, because even this guy's a comic relief.
like, he's not talking to me.
So
Yeah, and
that's
that's
fair.
and that's a big thing that critics complained about at the time is weird tonal shift where you have this extremely to a lot of people like off-putting first half hour uh because it's because it's supposed to feel awful because of what happens to his family, and then all of a sudden again there's kind of a compensation where it's like that was real oppressive and you're having no fun at all at your comic book movies, so now we need comedy.
And it's unfortunate because I think the big thing I would throw at this, just as a complaint, is that it's super tame. Like I don't think it goes far enough with anything. So like the fact that you already have that like desire to like tone it down even from what's here is unfortunate. This is a real soft R.
Yeah, and I mean everything's relative, Austin. Like I see your perspective on that. I'm somewhere in the middle on it, where like when I first saw this, it felt harder than it does to me now because I've been more desensitized. I've seen a lot more of this kind of stuff, and
Yeah.
so I sympathize with the people that felt like this was I like like I don't know what's the word I'm looking for. Like just really brutal because they went into a comic book thing expecting something tamer than it even is, and that's
Yeah.
somewhat on them. I think part of what's complicated with this character is that you have a big shift in how the stories are handled once you get into the 2000s.
Mm.
And I Punisher stories become typically a lot more R-rated and more hardcore at that point. And you've got a director here that, like you said, is trying to be all of the every version of the Punisher, and then add his own
Yeah.
random crap. And so and
Yeah.
so he's doing the Ennis thing, but he's also doing like 90s Punisher.
Mhm.
And I think
No,
people
it
went
absolutely
to the
is, but
movie
yeah.
expecting 90s Punisher. And I think it's just this kind of general feeling of it's comic book, so it's supposed to be lighter. Like even if it's going to be revenge thriller, they're expecting something more lighthearted. And
Mhm.
the director is keenly aware of that because he overcompensates by putting too much comedy in the second act.
Yeah. But like even with what we had then, like this is way tamer than the Blade movies. And I mean, I guess like you said, there are people who don't even know that that's Marvel at the time.
But I don't think it
Uh,
feels that way to them because there's more fun to be had in those movies. Like
mhm.
there's more of a lighter side from the beginning of both of those first two Blade movies than you have with this. Like, it doesn't. I get the criticism. It maybe doesn't establish its tone well enough in the first half hour. But what's complicated is, do you want very much comedy or levity in your origin section because it's supposed to be so tragic?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it's hard to say because you can also have some of that like with his family before they die.
Sure.
So it's not like it has to be completely devoid of any of that at the beginning. But also a big part of it, I think, is just he's not going to be the Punisher. Like he's not going to go around and kill people. Really, it's like that's also part of why it feels so tame. Is that you don't even get that aspect.
I don't understand why he has a headstone.
I don't know how any of it works. Is that not just something you get when you die? I don't know.
Well, there's not a body.
Does it always have to be with a body though?
Well, I mean, I think maybe sometimes we do that, but like nobody even knows if he's dead.
Mm-hmm.
They just presume him dead and then very quickly erect a headstone. That's weird. He'd be missing right now, not dead. There's
Yeah. I mean, like it's logical, I guess, to think that he's dead, but is it maybe too early? Although you just said it's been 5 months. Like, is that maybe long enough?
well,
Okay, he's probably dead.
Yeah, I don't think it is. But also, let me ask you this, and I don't want to get too in the weeds with this because like I worked in a mortuary and I lived in that world for a minute, so I think about these things. But his entire family died. Like, is there anyone left that he's related to at all? Who made the decision to erect a headstone? No, there's no one.
We needed.
There's no one left.
We needed a family plot. We needed just one marker that was every single person that died in that sequence.
Yeah, it says the castles 19 question mark to 19 question mark.
As big as like the Empire State Building, it lists every single person.
It's just a giant memorial plaque.
Yeah, and then he rips that out and he puts it, somewhere where the Saints can see it, and they're like, "What's up with this?" Oh, okay, we had somebody look over it for 20 minutes. It turns out Frank Castle's name has been crossed out.
But
it was hard to notice it at first.
It just looks like the 9/11 memorial, but it's just all of Frank Castle's family. That's great.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's even an infinity pool like that.
A couple super chats here. Dan Schneider, $5 super chat. If this got a sequel, you would wonder why he just shoots criminals and doesn't mess with them or manipulate them like he does in this movie. Or would he just keep on with these crazy master manipulation plots?
That's kind of how I feel, like, just because, like, we already said that. Like, would we go so kind of soft rebooty and doing a sequel where he operates completely different?
I think if this director
sure.
made it, and he seemed in his commentary to think he was going to be the one that made a sequel, and I'm not sure why he assumed that, because like they didn't give him very much money in the first place, and so it's like usually with a first outing like that, the director in his commentary is real trepidatious and is like, if we're lucky enough to get a sequel, he was like, I'm looking forward to the sequel. And like,
I guess, like, we're already at Spider-Man 2 and X2. Like, we've already had a couple of these.
Yeah, but you don't know. What the other thing too is they didn't give him very much money. You don't know what it's going to make at the box office. And he said, "I promise you," not kidding. This is what he said. "I promise you, the sequel will be set in a more standard urban environment." And I'm like, how do you know they're going to give you more money? How can you assume that?
It's a big Marvel character. It was only 30 million. Like, it was probably safe to assume this would make its money back.
Is it okay? Well. But it's not safe to assume that they'll give him 60 next time.
It depends, because with it being so low and it being a character that's so popular, like, it could very easily be a huge success. And then, next time you're getting like 100 million.
And now we got our Batman scene. Trust.
Yes.
Trust.
I hate Prince.
Do you think he's a little too one-linery in this?
No, because I'm fine with Punisher being kind of one-linery.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, especially because I agree with what you said about it being like a mishmash of Punisher things. So like, even complaining about it being tame isn't. Oh well, it's not Ennis. Like, that doesn't even bother me. Like, I like Punisher from different, um, like in different things. But
No, but it
yeah, like
thinks
I feel
it's
like
that
older
much of the
Punisher
time. It's like,
is
pick a
more
lane.
exactly. Yeah, no, but I feel like older Punisher is more kind of action movie hero-y.
Yeah, I'm at a
So
bit
yeah,
of
that is what. And now we're in a western.
when we're doing Punisher stuff, I'm at kind of the same disadvantage with you, Austin, that I am with Wonder Woman, in that you've got a real clear picture in your head of what that character is supposed to be. And with respect, and I mean I've got this with lots of characters too. There's kind of a bias there where you go, well, this doesn't understand this character because it's supposed to be this. And with characters that I'm just not as familiar with or not as big of a fan of, I'm kind of more open to whatever they end up doing or deciding to do if it's consistent within itself. So I don't have that clear
Yeah.
picture of as much entirely of this is what the Punisher absolutely has to be. There are a couple of major things that like I
Yeah, that's
get.
all I have is like a couple of major things, but like I don't know, I feel like I have a bit of leeway. Like again, I don't care if you're adapting Ennis, like I think you can adapt from anything. I don't really care how we adapt like his relationship to his family. I think you can do it in any different way. Like I'm also pretty open to what you can do with this character. There's just certain things where like in comparison, like if it's not working, I'm more open to be like, well, okay, but this is why it works. Like this is why your change didn't make sense.
Yeah, but for
I think that's
instance, you
all it
have
is.
such a knee jerk reaction when I when MCU does the like Punisher's coming out of retirement thing.
That's just because he won't stop doing it. Like that's the only story they have to tell with him. It's if you did it once, like that's fine. It's just that you've done him like 6 times, and it's always just that. Like do something else.
Yeah, I mean it is dumb they keep doing it, but the sense I was getting is that somehow like that premise for a story is like against the character to you or something.
No, for me, it's just that they won't stop doing it. Like do something else. Every story of his is him coming out of retirement and becoming the character. Just let him be the character.
Yeah. Well, it is weird when he's the character in like part of somebody else's TV show and then not in his own.
Yeah, no, exactly. No, and even Daredevil, which makes him that character, ends with, and now he's the Punisher. It's like even that kind of has it. It's just that like, and now he's the character, and now he's the character thing, right? That we talk about a lot. I think I'm tangled in my wire. There we go.
Like I feel like in some ways this movie has a real affinity for the comic character, and I respect Hensley for like calling out specific like stories and issues and stuff. Like he clearly did his homework if he wasn't like already a fan of the character. So like that's good. But like in some ways, it seems to have a real affinity for the character and get what he is traditionally. Especially with the whole like punishment before vengeance thing, where I like the entry he writes in his notebook toward the end where he's like, it's not correct to go for vengeance. Like it's almost like he says punishment and justice are the same thing, which is
Yeah.
interesting because I feel like in our society we very often can't decide like what prison is for. Where it's like, do we want to see do we want to see our criminals suffer or do we want justice? And is that the same thing?
Mhm. Yeah, no, all that's really good, and I really like Thomas Jane as the character. Like, I think he does a really good job.
Yeah, like if I had to pick a favorite actor choice, I think it is him for me
And
personally.
that's fair. I think mine's Stevenson, but like, I don't know that we've had a bad one.
Yeah.
Like, I become more frustrated with Bernthal over time, but like he's great in
He's really good at the
Daredevil. Like,
start, yeah.
yeah, that's just more we didn't know what to do with him. But like, I think overall we've never really had a bad one.
But then in other ways, it gets weird, like we said, and feels like it has to kind of reinvent the character for no reason I really understand, in making him
Yeah.
this weird kind of master manipulator, where it's like it's almost like it thinks the audience needs something like really super clever, and then
Mhm.
it's strange because you'd think if he was going to be poetic about it, the ways that he kills Satan and his family would be like related to the way his family died, and he doesn't really know how they're gonna die because he and how could you even be sure it's gonna work out too? Like you'd feel really stupid if you did all that work and then Saint was like, "No, dear wife, I believe you." It's like, damn it! Now I have to actually go in there and do it myself. There
Howard
is
Sane's like, there's no way that's what's happening. My best friend is gay.
there is yeah, which by the way, they also or I should say the director Hensley, he thinks he's established way more than he has.
Oh, okay, I think that's like it's subtle, but like I think it's there well enough.
Okay, because I didn't catch it. So the problem is there's a shot real early on with two men making out, and I didn't realize it was the same character.
Oh, okay,
So
yeah.
when we get that reveal later, I wasn't even thinking about that scene. It had been so long, and then when I watched his commentary, I was like, wait, that's what that was supposed to be? Okay.
Although I will
And then
say,
he's got
and
like
I
a
forgot
weird
to
look on
mention
his
it.
face when he's dancing with the wife, and I guess that's supposed to also point to it, but like
No, I was gonna mention that
yeah.
because I forgot to when we were there. It is very silly that the song playing over them dancing is about jealousy, and it's specifically like jealousy. And it's like
That's pretty TV.
that,
That's pretty CW.
that's laying it on a little too thick.
I should also say a thought I had watching this earlier today that I never really had with this Austin is this feels like the Punisher. Some of it's mood and some of it is Thomas Jane's approach to it, like just the way he talks. It's like the Punisher by way of the Bill Bixby Hulk TV show.
Interesting. Yeah.
I was getting that vibe from it this time around. And I was seeing the
Mhm.
ways in which this could be a pilot for a TV show.
Oh, 100%. Especially like, and this is my go-to for anything like this, I guess. But the different people he lives with here, that could be like your highway to heaven scenario, where and then in the next episode he meets these people and kind of helps them out, and then in the next episode that way. And obviously, like Incredible Hulk also follows that formula. So yeah.
Yeah, except you'd be hard pressed every week to come up with different ways for the Punisher to get a man to kill his entire family.
All I know is that every episode will like instead of the big like oh now he's becoming the Hulk moment, it's oh now he's pulling out his um uh oh my god I'm blanking on the word, the fire hydrant.
The fire, yeah, which is a little silly. I was also going to
I mean,
mention.
it's clever, but like it is silly.
So the one again, it's just how comic booky are we? Because like you're going out of your way to feel gritty and realistic. But sorry, I'll go back to the TV point in a minute. There's something I forgot to mention earlier when I was saying that he's doing these like sort of poetic kills, but like he's not actually the one doing them, and they don't really relate to the way his family died. But there's of course one death that is like inherently a poetic death, and that is the way Saint's wife dies because she gets run over by a train, and Frank's family gets run over by a truck, but he didn't mean for that to happen. Like she could have died in
Well, I
any
guess
way. So like,
his
imagine
friend.
it's Frank Castle pushes her in front of an oncoming train. That's the C train. Like, that would be better because he got it from somewhere. And he's like, I'm gonna punish you by making you go through what my family did. Only, like, worse because it's a train, I guess.
Mm-hmm. No, and his friend gets killed by, like, being stabbed to death, and Frank's dad was stabbed in the back is how he died. So, like, maybe there's a connection there where they both get stabbed. But, like...
Sure, but, like, it's a friend and a dad. Like, there's no correlation
it's
there.
different,
At least
yeah.
it's, like, one of the like, his
both
wife
bald.
and the other guy's wife get run over by things. Like, now you have a parallel. I don't even think... I can't be sure it was even intended.
No, because it's also not like the kid gets run over, too.
Yeah, no, that's true. And that's one of the things that kind of frustrates me about this is I feel like there's not a lot of thoughtfulness in the way the ideas and the themes are handled. You know, like, I like that it's not pretentious, and you can just, you know, tell a cool character-driven story that's not thinking that hard about symbolism and stuff. Like, I get that, but there's too much of it that's just kind of right there. And if you're gonna have a manipulation plot, it should be connected to how his family died.
No, and I had a real realization today, because for years I was like, I don't know why this movie is Othello, but it is. But that can't be intentional, and then found out today that it is intentional.
Yeah.
And I don't know why. Like, I don't know why that's one of your
that for no
inspirations
Maybe
for making a Punisher movie. And I love Othello, but it's very strange.
Well, it's weird because it makes Punisher the bad guy in that story.
Yeah.
Because he's the one that's convincing the stand-in for Othello himself to get all of his family killed. It's almost like the movie just wants to seem like vaguely Shakespearean. But you could build that in the story. What if Frank, for whatever reason, like, saw that play or read that play? I mean, like, that's a weird choice, but at least it wouldn't come out of nowhere as much. Like,
maybe his wife liked it or something. I don't know.
Or
it's like weird.
They went and saw that.
They went and saw it.
But then you'd also be going, but what does Othello have to do with anything?
Yeah.
As far as this character,
which is already what I had,
goes.
but I just assumed that, like, that was completely unintentional.
Yeah, see, Harry Hack.
And, like, we just made a master manipulator thing. Yeah, and I want, like, for me, the two best scenes of this movie are this and the Russian scene. So it's like, I want more of this stuff.
Yeah, this kind of thing should be the movie, because this is when it gets unpredictable and kind of hits you sideways, and you're like, this is interesting. Like it gives it more of a personality.
They're almost like little shorts, like, within the film that are very different, and, like, you wouldn't expect to be in the same movie, because, again, we're kind of jumping all around, but both of them are just kind of correct, and, like, and I think if you had more of it, it would feel more of, like, a piece. Like, we have different kind of, you know, things that he's running into.
Well, and that gives you an opportunity for the Punisher to be the Punisher, because, to be fair, he does kill the people that come after him. Now, you don't want the Punisher to be on the defensive the whole time, but what if the structure of your movie is, again, like, to not rewrite it, just working with the material they have. Okay, your first half hour is origin, and then the bad guy finds out that Frank Castle is still alive. I mean, I would prefer that it wasn't because he just came out and went, "Look at me, I'm alive." But, you know, somehow he finds out that he's alive, and then he just keeps sending people after him, and you get these little vignettes where there's scenes with weird assassins that each are in, like, a different kind of, like, theme or genre. They do weird things, and then Frank Castle kills them, and in the third act he finally goes to kill the bad guy himself, and then you get defensive and then proactive Frank Castle. And, like, the reason he can't get there until the third act is because he keeps trying to go there, and there's always an assassin in his way. Like, there's always some weirdo that shows up.
Or that, or and this is kind of Kill Billy, but, like, you have just a group of like specifically themed people are the ones that kill him, and you can still have henchmen so that there's more, big action climax stuff. But then he just goes around and like tracks down the individual people before getting to Howard Saint, and like you can even still have like, oh, he's
Yeah.
killed somebody, and now this guy comes after him. Like now they're trying to work out like, do we go on the defensive? Do we go on the
But make these
offensive? Like, how
guys
do we react to this?
responsible. It's weird that he has these extra assassins beyond the people that actually went to kill his family.
Yeah, and these people are more interesting than most of the other villain stuff. So it's like, do more of this.
But what if this guitar guy had been in that scene? That would have been
Yeah,
cool.
and the Russian guy.
And the Russian guy. They were part of that.
And maybe, like I said, maybe add a couple more.
And you're right. It would remind you of other movies. That's kind of RoboCop. That's kind of The Crow, where you've got your
Those aren't bad things to be looking at for a Punisher movie.
No, absolutely not. And those both have RoboCop more so, but those both have eclectic casts of memorable, like one note, like intentionally one note, like out there bad guys.
Mm.
But Johnny Cash Assassin is super cool.
Yeah. No, and I love the way he dies. Like I love the, like, you stupid a-hole, you brought a knife to a gunfight.
Yeah.
And then it's a ballistic knife that shoots out. That's awesome.
That's classic.
Yeah. It's so cool.
Well, and that guy apparently was a country singer that was that like now had an acting career, and he wrote that song like 2 days before.
Oh, I think I did know that. Yeah. No, it's really good. It's very atmospheric. Like I said, we stop and just have like a little short film in the middle of the movie, and it's really cool.
I really think the whole movie could just be made up of those, and it'd be a better movie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I didn't know that was a comic Punisher thing.
What's
But
that?
he talks about that in the commentary, that the mine is something that shows up in Punisher comics. The turn toward enemy. Like he got
That's just
that.
what mine say.
Well, yeah, but he said that he read that in a Punisher comic and didn't know that was a real thing, and then looked it up and was like, oh, that's just what mine say. But like he thought that was a made up thing for him. So it's apparently in at least one Punisher comic.
Oh yeah, no, like I'm sure. So I guess I just was kind of confused for a second, but no, I'm sure he 100% uses mines. That's kind of funny though. That, like he read that and was like, "Oh, this is a cool Easter egg."
I don't know. I'm just reporting what I saw. Chewbacca's Lover, $5 super chat. The popsicle scene is lifted from a Chuck Dixon Punisher comic. Yeah, I knew that. He mentioned on his YouTube channel it was adapted from one of his '90s issues. Well, and the director talks about that in his commentary too.
Yeah, that's also a really good scene. That's a good example of comedic relief, I think.
Well, and I do appreciate the kind of how do I want to put it? The kind of transition or metamorphosis that happens for Frank Castle, where we have a Frank that's quite a bit more well adjusted at the beginning than I would usually expect. Even a Frank Castle before his family is killed, like at least he's putting on a good show of not being that affected by war and stuff. And so like the man actually, smiles and cracks jokes and things, and like he's not super charismatic or anything, but the movie does establish a guy with a personality and at least some sense of humor, so that when he's broken and hardened by his family's death, I would buy that some of that would still be in there, and he would incorporate that into his new personality to some degree.
Mm-hmm.
Because if he was just a plank of wood from the beginning, you'd be like, where does that come from?
Yeah, like you don't want him to be a completely different character now.
Yeah. But I like
No, very true.
on all like almost a RoboCop thing of he thinks he's a totally different person, but you can see some residue of the man he was at the beginning.
Hmm.
Like there is
Yeah,
a
and
clear
I'm
transformation that's at least supposed to have happened.
yeah, no, of course. But like I think that's also part of like what we do with the shirt, where like that's kind of like a tie between them as well.
Okay, I want to complain for a second about this scene because this is nuts, and I don't know if it bothers you as much as it does me. But when these guys,
Timon and
the
Pumbaa.
the kind of misfits, the trifecta of misfits, the weirdo warriors three, when they when when when
Yeah.
when they convince Frank or the guy with the piercings convinces Frank to come have dinner with them under the pretense of her abusive boyfriend is back, they're insane. Because he could have easily just busted into that room guns blazing and they're all dead.
Yeah, I mean when you put it that way.
What are you doing? That's a really bad idea. It's like, oh, her boyfriend, he's back. They should have been all like ducked down and like cover.
No, I mean I like it in the I was like that's the only way that they know that they can reach out to him, but yeah, I mean 100% you could just walk in with a gun.
I also don't know if they get enough screen time together for me to buy that I they care about him as much as they end up caring about him. And like the performances are good and really sincere and I want to buy that. It's just complicated because A, they don't get enough screen time together, and B, Frank hardly says a word to them. And you know,
Hmm.
like you almost want some moment. Well, I guess the thing with a boyfriend helps, where like they're endeared
Yeah,
to him, where he's not
and
just
they
a
just seemed like
guy that's
people who just
there.
kind of like people in general. I do like it. Probably just is an element of we took something from a 12 issue run,
Yeah,
and we've got like 20 minutes to do that. So we got to like really shortchange it.
because I can see why a lot of people might not buy the guy with the piercings being willing to take all of that torture and maybe die for this, uh, you know, kind of psycho guy he just met. Um, but like I like that they talk about it after that, where
Hmm.
where Frank's like, "Why were you willing to do that for me?" And I don't know. It's just kind of question of do you buy that? And I guess he's just that good of a person. I don't know.
Yeah, and I like that he helps them out, which I think specifically comes from the ending of that book. They're also a lot. Uh, they're like all in a better place in this because they're comedic relief more so, where they're a bit darker in that book. But I think that's fine. Like I said, here they're Timon and Pumbaa, and then Nala, I guess.
This girl has learned nothing.
No. I thank God we don't. If she's Nala, though, we don't have to see Rebecca Romaine do the Nala face, though,
Well, that's good.
because I
Well,
don't want to see that.
it would have been a mistake and really inappropriate for him to have an actual love interest 5 months after his wife dies. So I'm glad that doesn't
Yeah.
happen.
Hmm. No, I mean, I guess I like that. Yeah, like it's something that she's trying to make happen, but he obviously can't.
But I also think it's funny that she makes a big deal out of how she's always picking the wrong guys, and every time she moves to a new place, she finds somebody that's like really violent and super abusive, and then immediately tries to get with Frank Castle.
Well, you know how like by Spider-Man 2, we learned that MJ's whole thing is that she like trades up. Like, oh, I was with a rich kid, now I'm with like an astronaut, now I'm with a superhero. Like she's always trading up.
Yeah.
Maybe Joan's thing is that in order to date her, you have to beat up her last boyfriend. It's like Mortal Kombat rules.
Well, and I'm not saying Frank Castle would be abusive to some chick he was dating. Like I'm not
No,
I'm
but
not
like
saying
just the
that
type of what we're seeing from their side, you could easily think that.
that might happen. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, no, I agree.
So this
And
guy
then we're
is
in the
one of
other
the
best scene
fake
of the movie.
Waldos out of a Waldo painting.
Yeah. Which I guess this is also kind of like a Macho Man and Spider-Man thing where we just got a wrestler. This is Kevin
Well,
Nash to
how
do
else are you going to
this.
get somebody big enough?
Yeah, no, that's true. And in the comic, he gets killed by pizza.
Oh, crazy.
We don't do that. It's not that crazy.
This whole scene is very technically impressive, especially when I learned that both of these guys did almost every single stunt in the scene.
Mhm.
But is it like a little bit of a bridge too far tonally? I don't know. Again, I want the whole movie to be more like this.
Well, like I said, if the more of the movie was like this and that cowboy scene, even though they're very different, like you could at least understand, like, okay, we're kind of jumping depending on what the villain is. We're like, now we're just in a Looney Tunes cartoon,
Mm-hmm.
and it's amusing, and you could have had the tonal inconsistency be the consistent thing.
I think it's funny that the scene, the fight goes on so long that they have to loop Dota Immobile.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like it
Well, this is
stops and
also
then
just
they have to start it again so that the gag can continue. Like I would have thought we'd have more of a like dramatic suspenseful bent on it. That's how you do it now, I think. Is like you'd play out Dodo Mobile and then the score would ramp up and it would get like like the whole scene would feel darker after that.
yeah. No, it's always a Looney Tune cartoon. But this is also some of Thomas Jane's best acting, I think. Especially that part where he breaks his gun and he just has that look on his face like, uh, God damn it.
Toilets are always funny.
They are. He hit him with a freaking toilet. And didn't just hit him with it, hit him through a wall with a toilet.
Yeah, and apparently Kevin Nash just went through that wall and it wasn't like a breakaway wall, it was like a normal wall.
That's awesome. Well, I know Thomas Jane like actually stabbed him, like there was an issue with the prop knife or
Yes.
something. So when he stabs him in the collarbone, he actually did.
Yep.
So I guess he's just a tough
And he just stayed in
bloke.
character and But yeah, I'm kind of excited to finally do the spirit with you at some point.
Yeah, because I've still never seen it. The fridge gag is also really.
I like the look on his face. Oh, you crushed my gun.
That's what I mean. That's like his best acting in this movie. It's wonderful. He sells every bit so well. And like that's just a scene of just we came up with a bunch of different gags. And like it doesn't feel too long, like I think all of them work.
Yeah, I was just so blindsided by it the first time I saw this. Where I was like, this was not the movie I was watching.
And now he's fighting the Tasmanian devil.
But then looking back, it's like, what movie was I watching exactly? Because I think the first half an hour is more or less totally cohesive. And then it pretty quickly goes off the rails.
Thank God that guy broke his neck and not Frank, because it could have easily been the other way around after the rest of that fight scene.
Yeah, he got really lucky there. Especially because that guy is pretty clearly more durable than Frank. Like, I would think he would be more likely to survive that fall. But I guess if Frank landed on top of him, I didn't really see how they landed. Yeah, Angel Castaneda, I had the same thing where he's kind of just Jaws.
Oh yeah, The only thing we're missing is a slide whistle when he falls over.
When he goes down the stairs,
No, like when he's standing and he's like, "I'm fine," but he's not, and then he falls
he
over.
falls.
That's where you at it.
Yeah, that would be great. But yeah, it's pretty crazy that you follow that up with a legitimately kind of hard to watch torture scene.
Oh, see, I was gonna say that's part of like the tameness to it, where it's like got nothing. But fair enough.
Well, it just
That's
depends on
obviously
what sorts of things bother you.
sensibilities.
You know, like the
Yeah.
pulling piercings out of it. That's one that I'm like,
I think it's just that like we don't see anything, so like it doesn't read as really harsh for me.
Well, you know what the problem is?
Yeah.
When
What's
I get
that?
to scenes like that, I look away. So I don't.
Oh,
So
true.
I don't know if we saw anything or not because I can't watch a scene like that.
Oh, fair enough.
And I know I'm not the only one. There's a lot of people that saw this that probably thought it was rougher than it was because of the stuff they didn't look at. Bob the Hun, $2 super chat. Warzone starts as a sequel to this with Jigsaw.
Yep. Yeah, because that was in development hell for a long time.
Well, I think there's a universe where this movie could have looked a lot more like Punisher, or like Punisher, sorry, like Daredevil, where you use the big villains, like in the first place, because Jigsaw was supposed to be in this initially, in
Yeah,
this
and
movie. There's a
and
draft
that's
that
not a
has
case like I don't really care.
yeah, but there's a draft that has both Jigsaw and Microchip.
Hmm. Yeah, because if you're gonna do any Punisher villain, it's probably gonna be Jigsaw. But like, I'm cool with making up a villain. Like, that's fine.
Well, in a lot of ways, Warzone feels like the movie you would have expected them to make in the first place. Like in some ways.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, and I don't know what that sequel would have looked like with Thomas Jan. Like, at the end of the day, I'm more happy that we got Warzone just because I really like that movie. But like, I don't know, it
think
could have also
that
been great.
I think that actor is more right for that take on it. Like I think
Hmm.
this is who you cast for an ostensibly more like serious down to earth version. But again,
Yeah.
I kind of like the wilder stuff in it more, but that still doesn't go to like a Warzone plays.
No. No, you do not have Punisher like punching a man's face in, or just Jigsaw's accent.
I think this scene I primarily exists to discourage people from getting facial piercings.
As you should.
Like I don't know how anybody can watch this scene and think about ever getting a facial piercing. It's like, look, if you ever wind up being kidnapped by gangsters, what is the first thing they're gonna do to you?
Mm, exactly. If your room, or not roommate, if you're like the person who lives next to you, your neighbor, kills a giant Russian Waldo, your piercings are getting ripped out. Like that's just a fact of life.
Dan Schneider, $2 super chat. The cut backstory was a tie-in comic by Garth Ennis. I didn't know that either.
Oh, is that what Born is? Born is like the only Garth Ennis Punisher thing I've never read. Interesting. Obviously, I know that that's during the war, but I didn't realize that that's what that was supposed to be.
Kind of convenient. You're in a room with wrenches.
Frank, why do you have so many frickin' wrenches?
I also
You
expected him
have
to
more
walk.
wrenches than guns.
I also expect him to walk over to that case and just not be able to open it.
He's missing the key.
Like it's locked. He's just like, oh, well, I guess I can't do this torture scene. Dang it. I guess I'm just gonna have to
Damn it,
stomp this
Frank
guy's
Castle's a
foot or
safe
something.
wrench owner.
I'm sorry, say again.
Said, damn it, Frank is a safe wrench owner. He keeps his wrenches locked up.
Well, I keep saying apartment complex. I'm confused about this building. Because, like, they're all tenants that live in a building together, but Frank looks like he's working outside of a garage or something. Like, what is this space that he's renting?
He's got like a little warehouse that's attached to their apartment building, but like also you can blow up a grenade in it and nobody else is affected.
Dan Schneider says that Bourne was something else, that there was actually a tie-in
Oh,
thing
okay.
to this movie.
Oh, okay. I just assumed it was Bourne. Cool.
But yeah, it's almost like and I know they didn't build a lot of sets for this movie because they had no money, and so they had to shoot a lot of location stuff. But it's almost like they built something or they found something that is kind of what you would imagine the Punisher to work out of. But then, like he's got a warehouse. Because this looks like kind of a warehouse. But then they went,
yeah,
oh, we want these, like supporting comic relief friend characters. So I guess we'll just say it's an apartment complex. Or like a house where they're all but it doesn't look like a house.
When even, because this is on one side and on the other side is where Joan lives, and we were just in her apartment and it's very small.
Yeah, that's the other thing is this is huge. It's a little bit like Dr. Mordred, but at least that guy owns the building, so he gets like the big space. I don't think he magically made that room larger. But
but like you could be like, maybe he did that. He's magic.
Yeah, you're not gonna question it as much as this.
He's also the landlord. Yeah,
because this is weird.
That'd be especially weird if Frank was their landlord.
Look, he's got to get money somehow, okay?
Yeah, exactly. I gotta get my vengeance. I mean, punishment first.
Outside, maybe it's a converted building that like used to be some kind of a shop or something, and now they're renting. Somebody's renting rooms in it. Because yeah, I keep saying apartment complex. It doesn't look like an apartment building.
No, and I think it's only these apartments. Like, that's the sense you get. Like, I don't know that there's any downstairs. It seems to just be a lobby.
Okay, so the movie knows what it is, but they're not telling me.
Maybe.
Maybe. Remains to be seen. Which film is the softer R, this or The Matrix? Definitely The Matrix.
Yeah, probably. The Matrix, I always forget, is R.
I know. It's weird that it is. There's a couple of scenes where I can sort of see it in 1999, 2000, but... So, I don't know how you feel about this. I think this is too hokey.
The heroic music with lightning in the background as he rises...
It's clearly supposed to be like a Frankenstein kind of thing. Like, it's alive! And I think it's very silly.
Our influence changed.
And if you don't agree with me, just listen to his commentary, because I thought of that when I watched it, and then he confirmed it. He was like, "Oh, we were trying to do like a Hammer horror thing," and I was like, "Why? I don't even understand that."
Yeah.
Were we supposed to think he was dead?
I have no idea. That's bizarre.
It's bizarre. It's such an odd choice. And then he made a big deal out of how all the lightning strikes make sense because there's so much lightning in Florida. I'm like, yeah, but it's still really over the top how like bright the lightning bolts are through the building. And
that's how bright the lightning is in Tampa.
I
also forget the horror thing, Hammer thing for a second. Like the big thing that Hammer's known for is like the over the top blood. Why is this kill bloodless?
Well, he talks about that too, and says he was, worried about, like creeping out audiences. Like he's trying to walk this line because it's based on a comic book.
That's so weird.
Well, I think what's weird about it is that he doesn't commit one way or the other. Like, in 2004, I get him and maybe a studio being kind of concerned about the appeal of it, where it's like because it's based on comics, people expect it to be a little bit lighter than like a real standard R-rated revenge thriller. But then it's odd they let it get the R. Like you'd think it'd be a PG-13 Punisher, and then they would water it down in the sort of way that's consistent, and you could still tell a decent Punisher story with it. Because you could, I mean, I know it's not what you would want, but you could do a PG-13 Punisher in the same way you can do a PG-13
I've
Daredevil.
also always said you can do a PG-13 Punisher if you do classic Punisher. It's the fact that it's R, like, has me going, okay, but why is it so tame? Like, if you're gonna be R. Otherwise, yeah, just be PG-13. Like, whatever. Like I said, it doesn't always have to be Ennis. Like, I'm fine with it being more of like a classic Punisher.
I will say this felt, because like your point is well taken, but I do think that for a lot of people in 04, this felt rougher and darker in the same way that Batman did to people in 89. And we look at that back at that now, and it's quainter. And like I saw this a few years after it came out and thought it was a lot rougher than the way it feels to me now. Like there is a desensitized thing that happens over time.
Maybe I don't know. I had that as a kid too, like watching this, but maybe like I also obviously have a very different upbringing on stuff like that.
Yeah, like I'm just suggesting that you're a bit in the minority on it. Because if you go read the reviews with this movie, like everybody complained that it was too rough and no fun.
Yeah, well, I just like can't see that. Like that doesn't make any sense to me. Like even looking back, like at stuff around this, like I don't think that makes sense. Like it's not just now we can go rougher. Like we're making rougher stuff back then.
That's true, but not based on comics.
Strange.
And like Blade, sure, but again, there's something intentionally more kind of like fun and campy about Blade that you don't get with this.
Mm-hmm. But even like in a PG-13, like we're past X2, which like has Wolverine going pretty rough with his claws, and we're not even really getting much of that stuff.
I honestly think the critics didn't articulate their feelings about this any better than the movie articulated what it was after, because I think it was more of an attitude issue for people than it was what the actual content was.
Yeah, that could be.
And I think they could have been won over on it not being a brighter, fun comic thing if only they had like understood like the character, the point of it better. Because the idea that just because it's based on a comic book, like even Ebert talked about this, and I disagreed with it, where it's like something about it being based on comics means that it's got to be like I said, brighter material. And I'm like, well, comics is just a medium of storytelling. It's like people don't realize that you can make like difficult adult material.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean it's
like
no
inside
different.
The pages of the comic, in the same way that you can in animation. It's like the argument, oh, it's a cartoon, so here's all these things we can't do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's not far off from like people being like, video games are you know what I mean? Like it's that kind of an argument.
Chewbacca's Lover, The Crow, RoboCop, Blade, Darkman. 2 of those 4 are original things that were not based on comics. And I realized that RoboCop and Darkman are both very comic inspired, and you ought to look at like some of the problem is we're all mired in this stuff, right? So what happens is the Punisher is a character from comics that people have heard of, and even if they know nothing about him, know that he's from a comic book. And that immediately made them in 2004 have an assumption of what it is. Do you see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's just 'cause people are stupid. But
Yeah,
yeah,
but that was
like
just
I
the
said,
perception
like I
of
said
it.
at the beginning on the with the direct or not the director, the producers with the money thing, where it's like they're looking at it differently than we are. Where it's like, oh, this again should be kind of looking at Blade like, oh, this stuff can make money. Like we can make a $60 million Punisher movie, and it'll make money. But that's not how they're looking at it. And it's like, oh, I guess we're just too close to it.
Well, and what's kind of sad is that this could have been a little bit more of a Ninja Turtle situation, where having uh, a smaller budget ends up uh, like giving it more of the kind of grit that it needs. Like it's it's odd how B movie ish this ends up being because of how little money they have, and that could have
Mhm.
been more of a boon to it. And I think it maybe does help the look of it a little bit.
But it would be cool, like if it did have like a grittier kind of punk look and feel uh, with that.
Yeah.
No, that'd be cool. I hadn't really thought about it like that, but yeah, that would have been a good place to look to. Is that first Ninja Turtles movie?
Where you just lean into how small and economical you have to be.
Yeah.
But like Ninja Turtles didn't have a small budget and go, let's go to Florida.
And John Travolta's the Shredder.
Like I think that's maybe the biggest most impactful misstep with this is just the setting.
Absolutely, it's just one of those like baffling changes. Where like I think even just as a movie, you go, okay, but why is your crime movie set in Tampa? Like that's such a weird. Like just again, if you're gonna do Florida, do Miami. Like
It's
it's I
like
don't
they
know.
it's like they don't know the difference between having to set your story or like having to film at a place that's cheaper versus where you actually set your story. Because like you said earlier, sure, okay, shoot there, but or shoot someplace
You have
cheaper,
to
but
say that that's what it
but
is.
you have to say that's what it. Yeah, you have it double for where it really is.
Yeah.
So are you just kind of wishing that all of the rest of this was the Punisher like one by one coming in and killing all these people instead of the manipulation thing?
I do think it's a little awkward where those people get tortured, or at least Dave gets tortured, and Punisher's like, "That's it. Like I'm taking it into my own hands." And then it cuts to like a 15-minute sequence of more machinations.
Yeah, and it kind of messes
It,
with
like
the
that's a
pacing
little wonky.
because you almost forget about the
Yeah,
Punisher in his own movie. Like we're with Travolta so long.
well, that should be your big like. That's it. Like I'm gonna go kick their teeth in. Like it's come home again moment.
Well, and I don't mean to repeat myself too much, but what's part of what's really awkward to me about this is the the way the Punisher has decided to punish this guy is by making him kill his own family, who he doesn't know had any involvement. Now you can say from the Punisher's sense of morality, like his own moral code, that these are not innocent people because they're part of like a horrible crime family. So surely they've probably done something where they deserve to die too, and so it's okay to set him up to kill them. But it's odd that as far as he knows, they are innocent of this crime.
Hmm. And he's not even killing his cousins.
But like that part of it doesn't feel like the Punisher to me.
Mhm. Yeah, I agree. No, it's a different movie, and like I think
But it would
just
if he
as a
knew,
movie, it's fine.
because he should want her dead more than him.
Hmm.
She's actually more responsible for this than he is.
Yeah, and maybe if you could find a way to have his like comedic relief sidekick guy in when she says it, maybe you could get it through him.
Yeah. Yeah, no, there's definitely ways to get that.
Yeah.
And the thing is, I buy that. I mean, we don't know enough about Saint's like background and how he got as demented as he is. But the way Travolta's been playing it, I believe enough that he might tune everyone out and tell stories in his head and make all these assumptions. He has kind of been doing that from the beginning, where he jumps the gun. He's a loose cannon. He makes decisions very quickly and just stops listening to anybody around him. But again, there's no reason the Punisher could be totally sure that this is how he would handle it, or that he couldn't be convinced at all by anyone around him.
No, very true. No, and especially just, again, compared to those like henchman moments that we talked about, like those are so much more like it's enthralling, whether it be more atmospheric or more comedic.
I mean, I guess another way you could go, but it wouldn't be like his whole family dies unless Punisher like outright kills them himself, would be for him to punish Saint by making Saint think that everyone that he cared about was plotting against him, and then that's what he went to his death with. But like, that's weird.
Mm-hmm. Oh, good, henchman. You're all ready for the climax.
I thank you all for coming. None of you look as interesting as the last two henchmen we had.
Thank you for all wearing your similar suits.
Yeah, no one's colorful here. Like, we're done with our Dick Tracy villains. We had two of them.
His son kind of looks like Prince, but outside of that, that's about it.
Yeah, but he should be wearing purple at least. Like,
exactly. He should be in the purple rain because it's Florida. It's Tampa. There's purple behind him right now. It's kind of Princey.
Okay, that's good. Oh, hey, look! There's the Punisher in our Punisher movie. Now he's going to be.
He's in the woods because it's a 2000s Marvel movie.
Something else Hensley said that kind of blew my mind, Austin, is the Saint's two sons. So the one that dies at the beginning, and then the one here, are played by the same actor.
Yeah.
I did not get that first time around, and apparently they're played by the same actor because they were supposed to be twins, and then they made them up to look accidentally too different, so then they decided to just say they weren't twins. So if they hadn't had the twin thing, they wouldn't have been played by the same actor. That's the only reason they did that. It should have been two different actors.
That's hilarious. No, and this brother is Jigsaw in the game that's a sequel to this.
Oh, yeah, you told me about that. So, Austin, we talked over it earlier and didn't get to it, and somebody mentioned it in the comments, so I wanted to ask you about it.
Yeah.
How do you feel about having to have an origin for the skull shirt?
Like I think it's fine.
Oh, do you really?
You can look at it as being too silly, and like it probably is, but like it doesn't bother me.
Okay, can I be a jerk and tell you how I would have rewritten that? So
yeah,
because
like I said, I don't feel strongly either way. So like, go ahead and tell me why it's.
I don't feel as strongly as whoever made the comment. It's been a while.
Yeah.
My issue with it is the timing of it. It's too convenient.
Yes.
He's given that shirt the day his family all dies.
Yeah.
Or
no,
the
that
day
aspect
before,
is way too...
It's right around there. What if...
It's the night before, yeah. Or maybe the morning, I don't know.
What if it was just something that he had in his drawer that the kid had given him at some point earlier, or was like a present when he came back from war or something? But like, it'd be a lot better if he just had it around already.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, that makes most sense.
Angel Castaneda, why is there an explanation for the skull similar to its clobbering time? Some things just don't need an explanation. Well, here's why it's different to me, though. There's not an explanation for why it's a skull. We just see him get the shirt. You know what I mean? Like, that is a little different.
Yeah, I don't think that's the same as it's clobbering time thing. But, like, it is also silly. Like, I don't know.
I guess what I don't like about it, just looking at it as a silly origin thing, is it's also a little convenient that it's a symbol that fits so well with what he's going to turn into. It's like he's going to be this.
It's the Batman
seeker.
Begins thing where you can instantly make fun of it. Like there is an in for how you parody that. With why bats?
What the whole why
because
bats?
They scare me.
Why skulls?
It's the exact same thing as
Master Frank.
Why Hello Kitty? My son gave it to me. I don't know why he's a boy.
But I do like the kind of like the skull with the kind of the white bleeding, the like kind of glue thing. I like that a lot.
Yeah, that's cool. I at some point would like to see somebody try to do the comic thing where the teeth on the skull are like the pouches that he keeps his ammo in. I don't think we'll ever do that, but it'd be cool to see somebody try it.
I would like that. I've
always really liked the classic Punisher suit.
I love outfits with too many pockets.
Yeah. No, and I love the classic Punisher suit, and we'll never adapt that. Like, it'll always be the kind of Max look now. Which is fine. Like, I'm not complaining.
So I do think the way he kills Saint is insanely way too over the top.
Oh, the car thing?
Yeah, and again, how did you even rig that up? When did you have time to do that? Why did you set it up to look like a skull from a helicopter's perspective?
Yeah, and I don't think it's as cathartic as they seem to think it is.
Yeah.
That's my big issue with it. And again, I think it's part of I don't feel strongly enough about Howard Saint as a villain, and then it's kind of just a silly death, but not like a cool silly death.
Well, and that's another thing where it seems a little at odds with itself. Where I don't think it has decided if what the Punisher does is supposed to be a catharsis for the audience or not.
Mm-hmm. I mean, just in terms of, like, I think especially just how long we've had to wait to see him get his comeuppance, I think it's definitely supposed to be cathartic. And especially the way we hold on, like, him burning as he's getting dragged along. It's definitely what they're going for.
Yeah, I mean, I see that from the material, and obviously that's what we should be looking at. Hensley doesn't talk about it like that. Like, the man that made the thing does not seem to, at least retroactively looking at it, I see it as very cathartic.
Okay.
He talks about it much more like, this is a guy you're not supposed to identify with, because he talks so much about, like, anti-hero, not really a hero, all of that. I'm not saying that he would be a real superhero if it was a catharsis, but I just the attitude about the way he talks about it.
Mm-hmm. That's so weird.
Yeah.
That's not how it plays at all in the movie. Also, Frank, why'd you take your symbol off? Why'd you stop to change?
Oh, yeah. I even noticed that.
I didn't notice it until just now either.
When did you do that? Matthew Clark, they love the crow. Oh, you mean with the fiery symbol? Yeah, well, I wish they loved the crow more. Because I'm with Austin. I actually think this movie is better if they ripped it off more. I have never, with a director commentary, I heard a man respond to his own critics as much as that guy does with this. It's
Oh,
interesting.
really?
Yeah, and there are complaints that he agrees with. Like he's pretty critical of his own work, and you can just read
Yeah.
quite a bit of frustration in his voice because he wishes he had more to work with, and he doesn't like
No,
how
that's fair.
compromised it got because of the money they didn't have. Like he didn't like losing that subplot with a friend, and
Mhm. No, because like I've got issues with this movie. I'd say overall I like it, but um, critics were just like overly harsh. I think at the same time, it's like I don't know. I mean, I guess I understand kind of being self conscious about it when you're making your own commentary in that case, but weird.
he seemed really surprised by the response to it.
Yeah, yeah. Like I didn't realize that at 29 on Rotten Tomatoes. That's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
If you're gonna do the fire logo, hold on it longer.
Well, he seemed kind of annoyed that everyone was comparing that to Daredevil, like he ripped off Daredevil. It's like this came out the very next year, so like they
Yeah,
both. That's more something's in the water.
also very
They
different.
just both went to that. Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, yeah. One's in a climax, and
one is literally just the crow, and the other is inspired by the crow.
that's true. That's a good point. And then, like with the Hulk, he's gonna have that moment where he thinks about killing himself. Except in the Hulk, he actually tries it in a deleted scene that is then talked about in a later movie.
And Captain America's shield is also in the background of this.
Wait, is it?
No,
No, it's not.
that would be funny though.
How could they even have the
For no
rights to
reason.
that?
I snuck it in. No, just like Hulk, this will end with Frank now lives in South America. Anywhere to just not be in New York.
I just kind of want something a little bit more compelling than just flashes of his wife. Not just to like prevent him from killing himself, like deciding not to do that, but to decide to continue being the Punisher.
They should have had his wife and kid come out and be like, "Now kill them all, Frank."
Well, like you
You got
said,
the Saints.
I get your point now that you've explained it. That like like with Batman, that whole thing works a lot better if it's just uh, somebody who came out of nowhere and killed your family, because it could happen to anybody. So it's like
Yeah,
you
and
want to
like that's part of
protect
the point.
people and prevent that from happening to anyone else because it happened to you and it could happen to anyone. This is too much of an extenuating circumstance.
Yeah, it's too specific, and it's them getting revenge on him first. Where
Right.
like now it is more of just a cycle of violence.
Yeah. It's just you hit me, I gotta hit you. If you made it more apples to
Yeah,
apples, he should just be trying to protect undercover cops, I guess?
and now this Dave guy is Jigsaw.
He's really regretting some of his life choices here.
Do you think he ever got piercings again, or did he move on to tattoos? You can't rip those
He
out.
just got them in places that no one could see. Like they're just not on his face.
Oh, oh, that makes me cringe more than that torture scene.
I'm glad. I'm glad I could do that for you. I feel good about it.
Oh, I don't like that.
This is a good shot.
It is cool, yeah. It is a little funny that he's just standing, in the middle of this giant bridge, but it looks cool.
It's nice that there's no traffic or anything.
Yeah.
And I do like that he actually calls himself the Punisher, and like that's not cutesy.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like I think him saying not vengeance but punishment meant that leads to the name. Like that's not too cutesy. That works okay. And
No, because without the name drop, it's the like War Machine like type thing in Iron Man, right?
yeah, no, that's right.
We actually get the name too.
And like, yeah, the voiceover you could maybe read as a little cheesy, but if you don't say it, it's lame. It's got to be said somewhere.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. No, I don't think it's lame. I think it's cool, and I think if there was any chance of it, Thomas Jane just like nails it, right? He knows how to deliver it.
No, it's so
I don't know
good.
if this is the music I would pick to end this, but
it's consistent
maybe.
with the total weirdness with this movie. Where we keep switching gears. Very often.
You can do like a heavy metal Punisher, but that's not really the movie they made.
Mm-mm. Well, we've talked about this with stuff, Austin. This is probably the band that paid the most.
Oh, okay.
Or something like that. You know, I mean, like, this had the incidental rock soundtrack.
Yeah, they should have got Nickelback. And they say he will punish you.
Senior Sticks Punisher has a yes kill policy. It's true.
Yes, kill some.
He's like after that, Thomas Jane's Punisher will return in dirty laundry. You know what's really funny? That's the other Punisher thing I have a written review of.
That is really funny.
I forgot
I've actually
about
never
that.
seen Dirty Laundry.
Because I did a unit on fan films, and I was so fascinated by Dirty Laundry. That thing is 10 minutes long, and I think I did... Isn't it like 10 minutes short? Maybe it's a little longer.
I think so. Like I said, I've never seen it,
but
I think it's
I
like
did a solid half hour on it.
Mm-hmm. I've always heard it's great.
I don't know how I did that, but...
You just really like laundry.
Yeah, that's what it was. And Ron Perlman's in that.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, he's in that.
Is he the bad guy, I guess?
No, he's a guy in a laundromat. That's all I remember. But he's not a bad guy.
He's the one with the titular dirty laundry.
Yeah, I think so. I think he's like Punisher's friend or something. I don't remember. It's been too long. It's been too long, folks. I don't know. But this was kind of a weird experience for me, Austin, because I sometimes will do these commentaries, and we watch these in pretty close succession, and I'll have a watch, and I'll watch it with you, and while we're talking about it, I like it a lot more. And I had the best watch with this afternoon that I've ever had of this, and then I liked it less talking about it with you.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
So it's kind of weird.
Oh, sorry.
No, that's okay.
I also do like this movie. I just have issues.
Yeah. I just found myself a lot more critical of it as we were talking about it than I was while I was watching it.
No, that's fair. But, yeah. Is what it is, I guess.
Well, because I was going to come into this and say, I think, and these are such different animals that it kind of just depends on your personal preferences. I was going to come into this and say, I think I prefer this even to Warzone. And now I don't know if I'm going to say that.
I definitely can't say that, but I love Warzone.
Well,
I could see you liking this more.
I came around on Warzone when we did it together because I liked it a lot more. and than I had previously. And I guess not really my thing. This isn't really my thing either. But like, I yeah, I before I thought that was just kind of like really over the top, goofy, silly kind of nonsense. And I saw more of a story in it the second time.
Mm-hmm. You know what this doesn't have that does?
What's
Is
that?
you Krispy Kreme mother effers.
That's
One of the greatest lines in cinematic history.
that is true. Well, and that director had a much clearer vision.
100%.
Like I
Yeah,
think
and
she knew
I
what
think
she
it's
was
such a
doing.
shame that she didn't get to do more movies after that. Like, she's
Me,
great.
me too. Well, and call me crazy. Like this probably isn't fair, but like I had a lot more respect for that movie when I found out it was directed by a female director. Like I didn't even see how that was possible.
Never be able to tell. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was so cool. And you just look at the behind the scenes with her, and like how much she cared about just making it what that character is in the comics, and I just thought that was cool.
Yeah. No, and I like the kind of neon lighting thing that movie does, where it's very Schumacher-y, but not like really gaudy like it is in Schumacher Batman.
Well, and they went with somebody that had a military background, and that helped that movie a lot.
Yeah. No, very true.
So not only was it a
And
female director, it was a
Punisher's
female
the best
director that had
slasher.
seen combat. Like that's so cool.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So I don't know what she's
And
doing now, but somebody
Punisher's the
needs to give her a
slasher. It's
movie.
fun. I think didn't she do like an episode of Supergirl?
Oh, I think
I think she
so.
did like TV stuff. It's
Yeah.
kind of it.
Yeah, at least she got
It's
work.
unfortunate. Yeah,
Okay, great. She got thrown in director jail for just adapting the comics well.
I know. Can you believe that? What a crime! Even today, I saw just online people being like, why does Jigsaw talk like that? Like his accent's so bad, and I'm like, yes, that's the point. He's over the top. Punisher literally punches a man's face in. The entire movie is consistently over the top.
The Punisher will be. Oh nope, nope.
No, Punisher never gets to return. He will. His is the Punisher will be replaced.
Oh, I'm dumb. LGF is Lionsgate. I was like, what does that stand for?
Oh, true. Yeah, I wasn't even
Lionsgate
thinking of that.
Films. That's what that is.
Yeah.
I was distracted by the fact that it's like the acronym people use all the time now, but mixed around. So it's like instead of let's effing go, it's let's go, comma
Let's go
effing.
F. Not even a comma. Just let's go F. You hit up a woman at night with that.
Oh,
On,
I see,
your
I see.
MySpace.
Let's go. Let's
You
go do
jump on
that.
MySpace. You're like LGF, and she's like, "Be right over."
It's the most vulgar way to say get a room.
Yeah. Because you're not gonna walk up to a woman and like your pickup line is get a room.
No,
That's what you say to somebody else.
That's true. That's
You just walk
true.
up and say, "Hey, babe, LGF."
LGF. Okay, let's read Patreon reviews now. And again, just a $5 tier if you want to put these in the future. And I'm going to go to Patreon and see how many we've got. And Austin, if you'd read the ones on Discord.
Of course.
I'm just resetting this. Oh man, it's doing that thing again on my desktop where it doesn't show them to me. I have to bring it up on my phone.
That's annoying.
I don't know why it's doing that.
Yeah, I've got 4 here.
Okay, I know I had at least 2, but we'll see if any more came in. I've got. Oh, that's so weird. So on my phone, it also said no comments yet, and then you click on that, and then the comments show up. This app,
Beautiful.
man. I've got 3. So why don't you start?
Okay, from Iron Shell. He says, "Good movie, not my favorite Punisher movie, but a solid movie nonetheless. Great acting with Jane, but a sort of silly plot to try to expose slash weaken the villain by trying to destroy his friendships and relationship. But better than One Last Kill. Rating hero."
You know, something else I meant to mention. I
What's that?
well, we talked over the scene where, well, you talked a little bit about it, where he gruesomely stabs the guy in the head, but there's not any blood, and I really like some of the resourcefulness with him. Like, I really like the idea of him taking the blade from a paper cutter. I thought that was pretty cool.
Oh, it's awesome.
But
Yeah.
I thought it was so funny that that henchman shows up and we establish him like he's going to come in and do something. And then Punisher walks out in the hallway and immediately gets him in the head. That guy didn't get a chance to do anything at all. He just showed up and died. Like, he did nothing.
Yeah. More, please.
It was pretty funny. Victor, a movie with a ton of personality. Even as you can constantly feel the behind the scenes compromises, Thomas Jane is great as both the human and killing machine versions of Frank Castle, and I love that the Punisher wants to kill Howard Saint spiritually before he does it physically. There's definitely things about it that don't work, and some nasty logic leaps. Namely, how do the hitmen keep knowing where Frank lives? Yeah, exactly. But I still find myself drawn in by so many sequences. The fight with the Russian is one of the best things ever in a comic book movie, rating superhero. And then he says, "Did you like that review? I wrote it for you. I'm going to read it at your funeral."
Beautiful. I hope you actually read it at Cap's funeral.
That's spectacular.
Specifically just that, like, so that everyone's like, why did you just read a small review of Punisher 2004?
Something else I really appreciated about that scene, though, is the Johnny Cash guy.
Yeah.
He pulls out his guitar case, and then he reaches in to get his guitar, and Frank thinks he's going to get a gun and his guitar.
Yeah.
And then the very next scene, he's, like, trying to murder him. And that's
Yeah.
pretty good. Although, Frank should have known more of what was up. Like Thomas Jane's acting in that scene, it's like he was just humoring that guy, and the whole time he was like, "This guy's weird. I don't know." And, like, everything was pointing to he's going to try to kill you, and I kind of think it went over his head.
It's all just part of the atmosphere. But yeah, I really like that moment where he's like, "Oh, this guy's got a gun," and he reaches for his gun.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
That's pretty great. Although that is the diner where Joan works, and the other two are also there. So I guess there's maybe like a little bit more of them hanging out. We just don't really see it. Not that they're like hanging out, but like he's at a table and they're at the counter.
It didn't even occur to me that that's where she works. I didn't think of that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, there's a couple cutaways to them just at the counter.
Senior Sticks, Frank doesn't hide himself well. He doesn't even try. He goes right out in the open. He's like, "I'm not dead, everybody."
I'm not dead. I feel happy.
Couldn't you have had a cool atmospheric scene where he does like a Batman and he shows up in like a cop's office or something, and he like lets the cops know he's around and is like, "Hey, you jerks, you didn't do enough or whatever," but not like right out in the open.
You want the like You've Eaten Well year one scene, which Warzone does, except he doesn't say anything. He just cuts their heads off.
Okay, go ahead and read another one.
From the Captain Coon, he says, "It's genuinely one of my favorite movies to watch and was a big inspiration for some of the stuff I've done. My profile pic here is me recreating the ending bridge bit in GTA Online, where I also did some videos with, along with its album of licensed music, and it may be one of the few times where I wanted to do something else and couldn't, but was given free reign on this instead, so I just did the movie I wanted." So that was like a quote. Like that's what the director had.
Oh,
It didn't blow up in everyone's face. I do wish that they could have done their sequel, even though I love Warzone. But at least we got the video game the year after this came out. Rating superhero.
Yeah, I think there was real potential for a sequel. I mean, like you said, I think the one soft rebooty thing you do is you just let the Punisher like actually do his own killing.
Hmm. Yeah, exactly.
This is
Yeah, I don't know. It could have been cool. I don't feel like strongly either way. Like being a Punisher fan has led me to just a place where if it gets rebooted, it might work out because it kind of has so far for the most part.
yeah. Well, and like Warzone is good, and I think it is probably the better movie.
Yeah, and I mean I like that they're also both very different. Like
Yeah.
it could be like, oh, I feel more in the mood for this right now.
Well, it's also interesting that Punisher and Ghost Rider both have that exact same thing, except Ghost Rider did it with the same
Yes.
actor.
Yeah, and they're both like the only two non-MCU movies that Marvel Studios work on,
Oh, that's a good
which is
point.
weird. With Warzone and Spirit of Vengeance.
Killer Moth returns in the wake of one more kill. It's so nice to reflect on a Punisher movie that doesn't suck. Jane is handsome, and that's all I need to rate this a hero. Okay. Wonderful.
I want to walk up to Thomas Jane and be like, on a scale of 5, you're at least a 3, dude. I feel it. Uh, Grim. For a movie about the Punisher, the visual appearance of this world is a bit clean, as the days are generally shot pretty bright, clear, and open, and the streets lack a lot of the filth and grime you would expect. It's also a rather tame movie for something with an R rating, but negatives aside, it's an enjoyable revenge story with fun action sequences, particularly the fight with the Russian rating hero.
Okay, well, at least one other person feels the same way you do about it being a tame arm.
Yeah, one with like the grimy thing too. Um, like I think with what you were saying, like that's where you would maybe take more influence from like '90s Ninja Turtles. Like
Yes.
you kind of want that look.
Yeah. And that's stuff you can do on a smaller budget.
Yeah,
Daniel Davis,
exactly.
but you can't put it in Florida. Daniel Davis,
No.
the Punisher isn't great. It's tonally inconsistent, and there were clearly budgetary compromises. But as a gritty, sometimes silly revenge thriller, I found things to enjoy about it. Thomas Jane's performance solid, and there were a couple of entertaining action sequences. Still, give me Warzone over this any day of the week. Rating hero.
Chewbacca's lover. He says one of the best versions of the Punisher. It's sort of different from the comics, but it got the character better than the Netflix series Hero.
You'd probably agree with that.
Yeah, like I would take the Daredevil show Punisher over this, but
But
100% over
once he's in his
his
own
own
show,
show.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Teddy put in a $10 super chat. I'll read real quick, and he says that he asked you a question on Discord, and you have given him no
Oh,
answers, and he demands answers, and he said it in all caps. So he's very upset with you for not responding to him, and he paid me ten
where
dollars
is
to tell you
this?
that. So this is Teddy.
Where did he like? Was it a private message?
He just said Discord.
I don't see anything. Was it something that like was a while ago and maybe I just forgot to respond?
Look, I don't have any answers either.
Cap, why don't you know anything?
We're
God
at
damn
his
it!
mercy. I don't know. Are you gonna rip off all my face piercings until I tell you?
Exactly.
Are you gonna rip off my
But I won't make anyone
tattoos?
watch it. Yes.
That's I don't know how you do that. That sounds hard.
You just grab them and you rip it off.
Oh, apparently that actor committed so hard he actually pierced his eyebrow. So
Oh,
the lip ones. I like how that bothered you more than the scene. The lip ones were were fake, but the eye one is real. So obviously they did like an insert one when they actually pulled it, but when they do that the close up shot and he's yanking on it, like that's an actual real piercing.
okay. Interesting.
I don't know what he's
Oh,
going on about. He says his
weirdly the
Discord in
angel wing
general.
thing.
Maybe he said something to you on the Geekvolution public. I don't know.
I don't know. Hit me up again and maybe I'll see it.
What were you gonna say?
I'm
I'm
not
sorry.
sure. Uh, No, weirdly, the angel wing thing is like more graphic than the piercings, where we see like where he's cutting them off.
No, I'll give you that. It is. It's just the subject thing for me. I just don't want to look at it. So I didn't even know how much they showed because I didn't look at it.
Everyone's saying justice for Teddy. I agree.
Well, let's go to our ratings now. Austin, you want to go
Yeah.
first or second?
I don't know. Dealer's choice. It doesn't bother me. I can go first or second.
I'll go first. I think this is maybe three in a row for hero, but yeah, solid hero for me.
Yeah, well, because what it's been? Ghost Rider and
Ghost Rider was a hero.
Iron Man 2.
That was also a
But to
hero.
be fair, you were lying about that one. But yeah, I'd also give this a hero.
Yeah, I can't go any higher than that, but
Yeah.
it's got, like we said, tonal inconsistencies. But like, I don't know, the story makes sense. Like, there's some weird choices uh, with like how convoluted the Punisher's plot is, and the main thing that doesn't make sense about it is just how easy it is for everyone to find the Punisher, I guess. But like, there's not plot holes really.
hmm No, it's why I said earlier, like some of that like manipulation stuff. Like it's not the Punisher, but like just as a movie, I think it's fine.
Yeah, but it certainly could have been a lot tighter in its storytelling and a lot more thoughtful with its thematic stuff. Teddy $9 super chat.
Yeah.
After the insult, this channel does not deserve my full $10. Well, thanks for the support, man. But look, it's not my fault that Austin can't bother to respond to your messages on Discord. Anyway, let's finish this up, shall we? So, getting over to, did you have anything else to say about your hero reading?
No, that's pretty much it.
Okay, here come the rankings. And Austin, again, this is always subject to change, but at the moment,
Yeah.
I have the Punisher at the 41 spot, and I have it just above uh, Power Rangers 2017 and just under Batman Returns.
Okay.
I've come around to Batman Returns enough that I'm not even putting this movie over it right now.
Batman Returns is great. That makes me happy.
I don't know. You can't say it doesn't have a clear artistic vision. It certainly has that.
Yeah, exactly.
And like I wasn't gonna put it even over Ghost Rider.
That makes sense.
But yeah, let's see.
But it's right. Like it is right around there.
Yeah, right around.
You
there.
might have to reload mine just because I forgot that I did
just
it
did.
until we started.
I just
Okay,
did. But you
perfect.
did get it in there. Yeah,
Yeah.
got it.
No, we were starting, and I was like, "Oh crap, I missed it."
So you're real close to me. You're at 38.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
We're right on the same page.
And like right under Ghost Rider.
You had it above Days of Future Past, and obviously I just like that movie a lot more than you do, so I have that a lot higher. And then you've got it
Yeah.
just under Dark Knight Returns.
That makes sense.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. That makes sense to me. All right. Well, the only thing left to do tonight is to tell you what we're doing next time, and again, it's going to be a couple of weeks now. But Austin, would you kindly announce our next topic for Rewind Commentaries?
Yeah, it is Sherlock Holmes: A Game of Shadows, the second Downey's Sherlock Holmes movie.
And kind of funny that we're doing those as close together as we're doing them.
Well, I tried to get it in earlier, like in a poll, because I remember when we did that, you were like, I'd like to do two while one's still fresh in the mind.
And now it's
So
not.
like,
it has been a little while, but
that's okay.
it's within a year, I think. So that's cool.
Yeah,
it's maybe been longer than that. I don't remember. I have to go back and look.
I think that's the beginning of this year. Like I feel like it was only a couple months ago.
Okay, that's good.
I could be wrong. I thought it was like in January.
But no, this will be fun because we get to do one that I'm not seeing.
Yeah.
Daniverse, you're already doing the
And that's the
sequel.
funniest
Wow.
climax in any
Well,
movie.
Austin put it on the poll. Chewbacca's Lover, not obscure, guys. Well, the reason I said that earlier is for a second I couldn't remember what won the poll. And I was thinking of some other things we had on the poll that were more obscure than that. And so I started to say, I think maybe we have an obscure. And then I was like, oh, wait, no, we don't. I know what it is. And it's not obscure.
Yeah, no, for sure.
A couple of super chats. Let me hit real quick. Robert, $2 super chat. License to Kill does this revenge plot better.
That is objectively correct. Also, License to Kill. The Bond girl in that movie is Huntress. Or no, sorry, no, I'm getting it mixed up. Never mind. She's in For Your Eyes Only. But no, License to Kill is amazing. I love that movie. I don't know why I just had like a brain fart there.
Oh, that's all right.
But those are both revenge plots. But yeah,
It's
License to Kill is
it's
great.
that kind of night. Teddy
Exactly, yeah.
put in another $8 super chat. So he's gone from 10 to 9 to 8 now. And he says, "Fine Ghost, I'll give you another chance. Have you ever heard of the 60s pop song My Boyfriend's Back?"
No, I haven't. I'll check that out. I don't know what that is.
You've never heard the 60s pop song My Boyfriend's Back?
No.
Oh.
Is that like a big song?
Yeah.
Maybe I'll hear it and be like, "Oh, I have heard."
Hey la, My Boyfriend's Back?
No.
Oh, all right. I don't know why he's asking you that. I don't know why he's. I mean, I appreciate the support for the channel, but I don't know why he's derailing the end of our Punisher review. He just put in another super chat.
I don't know, but it does remind me of like one day I was just hanging out, and my dad randomly texted me with a like a Louis Prima song. I think it was, and it was like. I'll be glad when you're dead, with no context, just that. And I was like, "Oh, thanks, Dad."
Wow. Okay, let me read this last super chat real quick, and then we'll finish the show up. He put now $7. He's gone from 8 to 7, and he says, "I asked because late last night while I was eating my nighttime banana, I thought of a parody song title that felt very day ghosty. My Führer's Bag."
Beautiful. I love it. If only I knew the actual song.
Anyway, thanks for watching, everybody. Once again, if you are not currently a God, I'm just about to die here. If you're not currently a Rewind patron, a $10 patron, you can become one at patreon.com/geekvolution and get your name read at the end of every show, among other stuff. And I'm going to do that here in just a second. As always, I want to thank all of our patrons, but especially our producers. Sorry, I'm just trying to get this set up here.
It's all good. While you do that, Teddy just sent in $6 and said thank you.
No, thank you.
You're welcome. Yes.
Well, thanks a lot for super chat support tonight, and thanks to all of our patrons, but especially our top tier patrons, including Jesse Surtees, Vic Blofeld, Jojira, Bag Studios, Victor, Super Billy, Elliot Slater, Dr. Hello, Goofster123, Joe J. Neff, Matthew Brody, Abic Stark, Kareem Roberts, Damon Begay, Adam March, Serial When Pigs Fly, Hot Soup, Michael Martin, Kate Blaze, Alfonso Diaz, Captain Coon, and Killer Moth returns. And we'll be back for this show in 2 weeks. And next Friday night, Austin and I are going to do a different thing that is not going to be superhero related, but will be like some of our long, crazy, off-the-cuff superhero rewind shows in the past. So we did our top 100 superhero movies of all time, and next Friday we're going to start on our list of our favorite 100 movies that are not superhero things. And I got to get going on my list because I haven't started on mine yet.
And I'm at like 140. I have to cut it down.
Yeah, see what you're going to cut out of it.
Exactly. Yeah, I got to cut some real fat. Also, Yeah, Angel Castaneda just said R.I.P. Jerry Conway. Thank you for creating the Punisher. I'm glad you said that because I would
Oh
have
yeah,
been annoyed with myself if I'd forgotten to mention that. And obviously we did a tribute video, but still, yeah.
yeah. No, I know. I'm glad he said that.
Yeah, but yeah, that Friday show it'll be fun. I'm excited.
Yeah, I'll start getting rolling on that this weekend. But anyway, thanks for watching, everybody, and we'll see you again real soon. I was Captain Logan. This was Austin the Day Ghost.
Good night, everybody.
Bye, folks.